İşte Monster Oyun Müzikleri Orkestrası. Sıra dışı, eşsiz bir ziyafetti adeta. Şu an ekrandan da birbirinden kıymetli müzisyenlerimizin, müzik insanlarının isimlerini görüyorsunuz. Her birine sonsuz teşekkürler. Monster Oyun Müzikleri Orkestrası. Gerçekten şahaneydi. Gerçekten sıra dışı, olağanüstü bir performansla bizlerle birlikte oldu birbirinden kıymetli müzik insanları. Harikulade. Geçtiğimiz yıl burada bizlerle olanlar var mıydı acaba? Şöyle bir merakımız var. Geçen sene ben geldim diyenler kimler? Güzel. Geçen yıl burada olanlar var. İlk kez ben böyle bir etkinliğe, organizasyona dahil oluyorum diyenler. Çoğunlukta. Ben bu işlerden hiç anlamam, arkadaşım tuttu kolumdan beni getirdi diyen onlardan da var, şahane. Herkes burada bugün ama bizler de bu güzel, bu heyecanlı günü mümkün olduğunca renklendirmeye, mümkün olduğunca güzelleştirmeye gayret gösteriyoruz. Efendim, geçen yıl gelenler zaten biliyorlar ancak yine de yeni gelen misafirlerimize hem aktaralım hem de bir hatırlatma yapalım. Burada olmayan misafirlerimiz için kısaca bilgisini verelim. Monster Notebook tarafından mutluluğu paylaşmak için oyun, teknoloji ve sanatın gücüyle yaşamlara dokunma vizyonuyla 2018 yılında kurulan orkestra bugüne kadar binlerce oyun ve sanatseverle buluştu. Daha nicesiyle de buluşmaya devam edecek ve oyun müziklerini çok daha geniş kitlelere ulaştıracaklar şüphesiz. Ben sunucunuz Mert Palavaroğlu. Bir kez daha hoş geldiniz. Akşam vaktine kadar, son saniyeye kadar sizlerle birlikte olacağız burada. Heyecanlı bekleyiş devam ediyor tabii ki. Ancak sadece ben konuşmayacağım gün içerisinde. Tüm laf azanlığı ben üstlenmeyeceğim. Yanı sıra sunucu arkadaşlarımız var bugün bizlerle birlikte olanlar tabii ki. Peki kimler bugün bizlerle? Sevgili sunucu arkadaşlarım, Özgür Alagöllü, namı diğer Roots, Alican Karahan ve değerli yorumcularımız Berker Kubat, namı diğer Gundik ve Ebrar Gül, namı diğer Rovinsi bizlerle birlikte olacak. Onlar da büyük emek
Welcome then to the grand final of the Intel Monsters Reloaded 2023. We just had quite the introduction for everybody that was on the, I guess, the Turkish stream, seeing what was going on. The orchestra, the music, we're in the zone, we're hyped, we're soothed, we're sensual, we're ready to go. I've never seen anything like that, Scrib. We're absolutely going into a final now.
Yeah, man, it was good fun. It was good fun. It was all game and tracks, you know, which is lovely.
Yes.
And we went through a bit of an era, didn't we, with sort of lands like this that are trying to make a bit of a name for themselves. First time on the scene. They'd pull in like these DJs, and sometimes they weren't fantastic. I remember the WePlay DJs being really good, to be fair. So it can be done right, but an orchestra is a bit fresh. It's a bit different, but then there is also that spin that it has the kind of game. Are they back?
There's the replay.
Oh, no, it's the replay. It's the replay. Okay. I was so excited to see them again. But, of course, they ended things here, as you can see, with the Counter-Strike music, of course, which is absolutely what we want. So, yeah, and they were really good, as you can see. They were fab. Mainly strings, which is always good, but a lot of character and a lot of different tunes as well. Bit of Street Fighter in there, which is one that everyone will recognize. So, maybe they'll be back. We're unsure. We're unsure if they're going to be back like in between maps or something like that. But yeah, they really were fab.
They were great. And, you know, as you said, we've had, you know, DJs and certain other things over the years, but this felt more classy, I guess is the word.
Sure.
Kind of fit with the show. Either way, music, you know, accustomed to a grand final. Eternal Fire Academy versus Endpoint. For those that saw the games yesterday, you'll know that Endpoint might be a little bit all over the shop. They are playing with a stand-in because Heavy God unfortunately had visa issues. But even so, they're a professional level outfit. We definitely expected them, I guess, coming into being a favourite. But there's no question, Scriv. There are a few oddities about how they played yesterday and a few things that need to be righted if they want to have a clean final performance.
Yeah, this much is evident. You can see there, as we get the bracket up, in fact, that losing a map to Divine Vendetta, I think, is not really all that acceptable. I don't want to be too harsh, but it is kind of a
It was their map pick.
Look
it was their
for
map
them.
pick.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that is true, but yeah, I think I do have to lean into that and say that it just is really disappointing from them to lose the map out. At the same time, one thing that we did give them, one thing that was evident, the way that Divine Vendetta play, take the engagements, and generally just approach the game is much more aggressive, and maybe in Europe we'd call it more like carefree. But that ultimately is just because they're not like winding the clock down for a minute, baiting utility on one side of the map, flitting to the other side of the map, you know, as it can be on a lot of different games, different maps within Tier 2 European Counter-Strike, a lot of feeling each other out and whatnot. So I think Endpoint, it took them a bit of time to ultimately get used to that. And it's funny, you know, it was down to that T side as well from Divine Vendetta where they won out 8 rounds, I think really just catching Endpoint off guard with how good the individuals were and, as I say, how aggressive they were. But when it moved on to the future maps, you know, Vertigo was kind of easy for Endpoint. There wasn't too much competition from Divine Vendetta without pistols especially. It would have been a very different story. And then Overpass as well, a similar kind of deal really. Again, a very, very clean map. So I think Endpoint eventually became comfortable. It did take them an entire map to get there. It was still surprising that Divine Vendetta managed to win on Mirage, one of Endpoint's favourites at the moment. But ultimately, Endpoint did bounce back and didn't crumble. I think we were within 2 minds, weren't we, during the break? We were like, goodness me, there were a few buys there towards the end, a few aggressive plays that maybe were not part of the plan. It could be the LAN jitters. It could be the annoyance of what's going on here getting the better of them. So hopefully they clean up their act, and they did.
Yeah, it's certainly the end of Mirage. It just looked a little bit bizarre.
On the edge.
Endpoint, sure. You know, I think fairly well-known quantity, I think, to a lot of the viewers. I think if we're talking star players, I guess Slend and Azuwu, it would be Heavy God with a full lineup. But here, of course, not in play. Swish, it looks like he's taken a lot of the more supportive roles, and maybe someone like Max is to move into more rotator spots. So I expect a better performance from Max just by virtue of the spots. But I guess those are the stars. But on the flip side, Eternal Fire Academy, I think, are a lot more unknown for a lot of our viewers. But as we said, Jota and M-Star yesterday were brilliant. We're having all these conversations about who could be the next prospect in Turkey, who eventually could make their way onto, you know, the main Eternal Fire roster. Those two, I just want to see more of them. Best of 5 final. Let's see if they've got what it takes to take on a full-on professional level team in this environment.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely what we're looking forward to at this point as to whether they can answer back. You know, Heisers in the end didn't look too bad. They managed to win that third place decider. You know, and again a very solid individually based team, but just on the sort of team structure level, they weren't quite as good, let's say. But ultimately, really good showing from them. So Eternal Fire Academy doing well to take them down. You can obviously see the boys here, you know, the mix and everything just coming, chilling, no jerseys or anything like that. I think for them, ultimately, they have just shown up and given it their best go as a bit of a semi-professional kind of team, it feels like.
Well, they're just enjoying life. Why not? Third place, a nice check on stage, some nice snaps, you know, with the profiles and all that jazz. Perfect. Love it. Put those all over your socials. Why not? Feels like we're gearing up to get the teams out, doesn't it? Kind of feels like that sort of vibe at the moment. Can't quite speak Turkish myself, but you know, I sense the hand signals. I know what's going on here. Surely the teams are coming out soon, but yeah. Return of Fire Academy. They played a good game yesterday. I thought their first map, they'll be disappointed not to have won Ancient, but after that, it's got to be said, they look quite dominant to me. They had a lot of good rounds throughout Overpass and Inferno, so I'm just excited to see more of this team. And you know, local representative, that can only be a good thing as well for all the fans, of course.
Yeah, well, I think that's something that definitely spurred them forwards was the home crowd advantage. Not sure how busy it was yesterday. We didn't get as many shots like this of the arena and whatnot, and I think that there was also a little bit kind of playing in the training rooms and things like that, but still a bit of watching going on, you would imagine, on this here stage, on this main stage as well. So yeah, very much looking forward to getting into this and seeing what Eternal Fire Academy are able to do now that they are out on the big stage, which is where it can be harder, can be more stressful. They do have to watch themselves at this point for sure. So yeah, very much interested in how things are going to go down moving forwards here. But I think there is obviously the scope for Eternal Fire Academy to really impress and keep that coming. There's some prospects within this team for sure, and then moving up to the Eternal Fire main team itself, you know, Major 32, Zantares 28. These are obviously two legends of the scene, but they are getting on a bit, and they may well start to think about changing up their roles or maybe moving into coaching. We're seeing that become a trend. You know, the VP boys especially are really hitting that, something we've been saying for years. So you never know, man. It might be a move here if they're like, wow, okay, some of these young guns deserve a chance. I got to move aside. You never really know, especially in the case of Jota. I think there's an awful lot of similarities between him and a player like Zantares. So maybe Zantares goes back to the IGL in, Major gets in for some coaching, and we bring in a hot prospect and see if he can take the Tier 2 scene by storm. I'm going to take a guess at the fact that this is indeed the boys here, so we'll see what they're able to do.
I hope it is. I mean, the kind of the American sports jacket sort of vibe.
Okay, hold on.
I'm a little bit confused.
Is this,
we also
is this
saw,
potentially for like a different tournament? Has there been a different tournament going on alongside
only
the
four
CS?
of them.
Yeah, it must be.
I'm going to assume different game. I'm not sure this is Eternal Fire Academy. I was a little bit confused.
That looks like
second place being handed out.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused there, but I was like, all right, we'll roll with it. But now I'm genuinely sus. I think that is like a PUBG helmet. So I'm guessing there's been like a PUBG tournament going on alongside.
They play four. They take teams of four, isn't it?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
it
is. Right. Right, we're learning, guys. We're up to speed.
We are indeed learning. So side tournament complete, but obviously this is what the host man's saying now. We're all here for the Counter-Strike, so get ready for the Counter-Strike, guys. So hopefully everyone's going on. It makes sense. Yeah, I saw the second place as well, and I was a little bit like, okay, I don't know, maybe a typo somewhere or something, but you know, we'll roll with it. But obviously, the game's not happened yet, guys. So bear with us while we're covering the game. Also, some of this info is new to us as well. It's an adventure for everybody involved.
Let me just talk through the veto while we've got it very quickly.
Sure, yeah, sure. Back to reality.
The endpoint ban nuke, Eternal Fire banned Ancient. Were they banning that yesterday? I feel like they played it yesterday. Interesting. So somewhere in the mix, they played Ancient yesterday. They did lose it, to be fair, but
very close though.
But they banned Vertigo yesterday, and Endpoint can play Vertigo. Interesting. So, do they have a 7-map pool, or I'm not sure what's going on. It's the only explanation is that they have a 7-map pool. I don't see why else you'd play in a best-of-5 final.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll find out. Obviously, again, a team quite young, not too many well, these would be their first HLTV officials, at least in the past few months. So I think there is maybe a world in which you're like experimenting a little. Maybe they like to think they've got a 7-map pool, but we're about to find out as this goes on if they potentially should have removed the Vertigo or not. Because the Ancient was very close. It was 16-14. You know, went to the overtime. Couple of rounds in there. I think there were a few like silly ecos that they lost.
Half.
You know,
it was there's a world where they win that game 13-8 or something quite comfortably. So I'm a little bit perplexed. First map will be Mirage. That's picked by Eternal Fire Academy. Then Inferno by Endpoint, Overpass, Vertigo, and then finally Anubis if we make it that far, if required. Eternal Fire in a good place in the Veto because they play their pick first and third, so a good chance to streak ahead. Presumably these are the champions. No, we just had the champions of PUBG, so I don't know who's on stage now. We're getting all the lads out. That's Emor.
I was going to say, is that not Emor? Yeah. Yeah, so I think we might have a few Turkish legends, potentially.
Maybe they're bringing out the trophy.
Emor doesn't know where to go. But yeah, I think we have a few legends here. They called out the first guy, whoever this stylish guy is in the jacket. And everyone started cheering. So he must be a guy. He must be a legend of the scene. This is kind of fun having like a little bit less information and just sort of guessing what's going on.
We were saying as well before we go live that it's a bit like Eurovision where our microphones are on, but we have no control over what's happening. We're just sort of experiencing it with all of you guys at home. We're a little bit dazzled, I guess is the word. It's all very exciting to us. You know?
Yeah, absolutely caught up in the excitement, for sure. So, yeah, I did say as well. Not sure if it was going to be a start time or a sort of getting things started time. Slightly different. So we'll see. But hopefully everything is ready to get going once the players do get out. We've obviously got a bit of chit chat here from the gamers. Some inspirational words for Eternal Fire Academy, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm sure you're more leaning that way. No doubt about it.
Indeed.
It's been a bit of time since
very much so. He is indeed on the bench at the moment. So you would hope he's really supported them to get off that bench at the end of the day. I quite liked Timor as a player. I thought he was pretty decent, to be honest with you.
I think
maybe
just
fits in a bit better in that Calyx role than
Major's going to
Calyx
call
does
and Woxing's going to AWP, and we've already got Wicadia and Xantares being our focal points as riflers. It's a bit like where's the space left? I guess you're choosing between someone like Calyx as a more supportive player and someone like Emor, and they're not very similar players, are they? So, yeah. I mean, there was a period where we had Sangul and the team that became Eternal Fire.
Yes.
So there was at times two full Turkish lineups, probably both competing in the top 50. So there's definitely potential if you get the right combination of players together. You got Soulfly. Soulfly, Emor, maybe a couple of these Eternal Fire Academy players. I'm sure I'm missing somebody who's around.
Xfloud.
Xfloud, that's another, yeah. There's quite a few lingering.
Still on Sangal, actually, Xfloud, to be fair. Not fully Turkish at the moment, of course, but he's still there.
Yeah. Either way, we hope we're in the final soon. As much as we enjoy the on-site shots, we're not really sure what's going on. We're
more all about the Counter-Strike, mate. That's kind of what's going on with us. So, chit-chat is always good, for sure. Seems like we're going down the line.
It's really like Eurovision, because at one point we're going to haul out the British act as well on stage. Ready to go. We should have shipped out somebody for this part as well.
Maybe
Thomas, something like that. Just
wheel him out. The British representation.
Okay. Says his number before we go in. Microphones handed round. Beautiful.
Okay.
All right. Like a boy band, really, this lot.
Yeah, they are a little bit. I can relight my fire. I can see them doing it.
Yeah, that'd be good. And then you have everybody has their favourite for different things. They all bring different vibes to the group.
They do a little bit, to be fair though. The way they were all like dressed and holding themselves, there was a very different vibe. A little bit of Gary Barlow energy from the guy on the right hand side.
Wouldn't that have been hilarious if they just sat down? Because it's worth saying to the viewers, we don't actually know what the Eternal Fire Academy guys look like because we haven't seen them on camera yet. So wouldn't it have been so funny if they sat down at the chest and we're like, oh, that's the Academy team.
And they fielded X-Cloud for today. Yeah.
Email's out.
That would be a bit of a... yeah, Immol, sorry. Yeah, that would be a
I mean,
bit of a...
some teams would have placed him on their Academy, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean...
Put us in
Yeah.
this.
It's a bit difficult. I think he's a little... Is he closer to like 25? So it's maybe like, does he...
Oh, my lord.
Oh my goodness, we've got a proper trophy.
He's got the gloves and everything.
Don't fall. Don't fall. Alright, he's good, he's good. He does have the gloves, no fingerprints on this. Just for, you know, 5 or 6 players to get their fingerprints all over it once they win. Unfortunately. I guess they have indeed won it, but still. That does look a bit precarious, though. You know, it looks great, don't get me wrong, but I am worried for those sweaty palms after a long BO5.
Look at this. The spotlights and everything.
Hell yeah.
That's how you do a trophy blast. That's how it's done.
Yeah, that is true.
I like it. God, we're getting everything here.
Yeah, it's pretty official, man. It's pretty official. You know, so we'll see. Endpoint gonna bring an A game into this one for sure. Now with all this,
I mean, a question
patriotism
is,
behind.
I mean, we know that yesterday they were
Fire.
playing in more of, I mean, it was a practice setup, so it's more like a boot camp environment. This is a bit different. I'm not even sure if technically the setups are the same. So there surely is a bit of adjusting, and obviously these are their first games playing on this exact setup. So
Yeah,
I'm guessing that favors Endpoint. Those guys are more.
they have a bit
seasoned.
more experience there for sure. So we'll definitely see. But like I say, the crowd might be a new thing for them to deal with. Actually, you know, they've done UK crowds, but
Bro, they've also
generally pretty supportive of
lost
everybody.
their only stage final. They lost it to Raptors.
True. This is very true.
And I'm not actually sure where you'd put Eternal Fire Academy against Raptors. They might be in the same sort of realms, to be honest. Yeah. So, I mean, that is a question for
it
Endpoint.
depends, doesn't it? Yeah. How do you react to this kind of environment as a team? Is this it? Oh. Okay.
Not sure.
We've skipped ahead in time a little bit, I think.
It's okay. We've just pulled up the run of show to see if we can get a rough gist of what's coming next. And the answer is no. We don't know. The answer is, unfortunately, this is apparently very much on the fly, or at least we haven't been given the information, but it certainly is exciting. I mean, presumably the
It might
crowd
be
is
one of
gonna go
those
nuts
where-
when the Turks come out.
Yeah, it might be one of those where they've gotten a bit excited on the day. You know, they're like, "Oh, this guy's here. Let's get him out. Let's, you know, big up the show for the Turkish team." Oh, okay.
Somebody's coming.
Surely. Oh, my goodness!
Lord.
It's
One at a
Endpoint.
time.
Wait, one. Yeah, we are doing one at a time. Okay. Or has he just gone a bit early?
Presumably this is Swisher.
Yeah, they're just sending him by himself.
Yeah, he's wearing a frog jersey. They couldn't quite make him one in time.
Indeed. Okay, no, we are doing one at a time.
He's saying their first. He's saying their real names. I wondered.
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
second.
sure.
He said, "There you go, K-Man on stage."
Oh no, but he did just say Mighty Max. He did just say Mighty
I don't know
Max,
what's
which I
going
guess
on.
is his full name. It is his full name.
Oh, the strap book. Oh, Max, you gone the wrong way. Come on.
Nice. Skip the last step. Very, very aggressive.
Oh, I see. Yeah, he's saying the
display of
alias
dominance.
first, then the name. We've got it. Azulu there, glistening.
Oh my goodness. These stairs are giving me anxiety, man. I feel like someone is going to trip. I don't know.
No,
I'm never gonna hit
no,
the
I
end of it.
believe. There's Slend.
Oh, that was a little fast. That was a little dangerous on the last step, personally.
Come on, introduce the coach.
Yeah.
Disrespect.
Nope. Oh my goodness, that is, and he's just
Zach
walking
gone
on.
up on his own. Endpoint coach, disrespected. That hurts.
It does hurt. That happens though, man. You know, the unsung heroes of the
We've
team,
been
obviously. Yeah,
Literally.
it was a bit tough. But what are
Right,
you
here
gonna
we
do?
go.
Okay.
Finally put some faces
what
to
are
the
the-
names.
What
I
are
didn't
the
hear who he said, unfortunately.
Yeah, we got to listen here. I think we got to do a bit of listening. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
M-Star Emrecan Çalık.
so we've got M Star.
One of our star players.
Yep.
Look out for him in the game.
Okay, we got
Here we
Cyber.
go. Orpa of Eternal Fire Academy.
Oh my goodness, that's a gamer right there. Okay. Sounds like it's Yota as well.
Yeah, I think
by
this
the
is
way.
Yota.
Alright.
Excellent.
And now we don't get the coach. Yep. All right, brilliant. At least it's even both sides. That.
Oh, they
Okay,
did
they
even
do actually get some recognition. They get some recognition. Let's go, man.
There
Let's
he
go.
is. Celebrated a little bit later than planned.
Coach El Princip Kadir Sivri.
Amazing.
Hell yeah.
They're loving this.
He sounds like he's known. He got a fair amount of cheers. I kind of recognize that guy from.
I'll tell you what they could do with on their jerseys. They need the Turkish flag on the jersey somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
That is needed.
İşte iki koç yan yana duruyor.
We're gonna get a
We're
bit
about
of
to get
a
an interview or
interview. It looks like we might
tarafta
just.
Eternal Fire Academy ve diğer tarafta Endpoint CEX. Finale hoş geldiniz.
CEX really getting their money's worth out of this one.
Absolutely.
The boys.
That's what you pay for.
Right. Well,
This
is
dude
true.
brings the energy, I'm telling you.
He really does. He's
He
pretty
is
good, man.
great.
He's
We
pretty
didn't
good.
have this
I
earlier,
like
so
him.
for those who didn't see yesterday, we didn't have him on air.
And now
But
let's turn.
this is a game changer for us sat
Alright.
here at home. You know, they might actually be watching right now in the Endpoint facility. I wouldn't be surprised if a few are in Sheffield right now watching this.
I think so. Yeah. I think they will have to
Shout out
catch
to
it live
them.
for sure.
So they're enjoying the show. I mean, you don't, not normally that you get an orchestra introduction to Endpoint.
No,
coming out
this
to
is
play.
true. This is true, and a very different kind of vibe on the broadcast. You know, just sort of covering over the action. But loving it so far. Loving it so far. The energy's great. No one's fallen over. Trophy looks good. Stage looks good. So we're just hoping
Anyone
to
pick
get
up?
into the action soon.
Yeah, we need
you
the
know?
Counter-Strike.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We need the Counter-Strike.
Hepimizin hayatında
Give me the
çok
goddamn
büyük
game.
etkiler bırakan bir oyundan
Yeah.
bahsediyoruz ve
Oh.
bu oyunun en iyilerini izleyeceğiz şimdi.
Alright.
This really is
Bu
like
güzel
Eurovision because that always
mücadeleyi
starts late
tabii
as
ki
well.
yorumlayacağız.
He always like,
Very
when's the
true.
first act going up?
Misafirlerimiz de var demiştik ya bugün.
Maybe we can
Hatta
vote at
daha
home as
ziyade
well at the
ev
end for
sahipleri.
who
That would be
Sevgili
good.
analiz
who
That
has the
would be
best
good.
performance.
Buyursunlar söz
Yeah.
sizde.
We need Endpoint to bring a song.
Okay, well, the
You know,
players are
that
sat
would be
down.
lovely.
I mean, I'd be surprised, Scribb, if it's under 10 minutes, knowing players. I mean, they got to warm up a little bit. They got to get on the server,
Yeah,
check the,
yeah.
the configs.
I think this is kind of what we're hoping is that they.
Yeah, it's quite possible there could be a small technical hitch, given how
Yeah,
close we are
well,
to
yeah.
going live. But I pray. I'm hoping it's good. The Turkish casters
Yeah.
are clearly ready to go as well.
Indeed.
So, how do we see this final go? Are you going to give me a score? I mean, do you think Eternal Fire Academy are going to get a map? Which way are you leaning?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I had a little think.
Let's
I don't-
reframe that.
I don't
Should
think so.
it in
Okay.
a in a not necessarily a perfect world, but in a world where both teams are playing to their capacity, should Endpoint 3-0 this?
Yes. For
But
sure.
will they, given what we saw yesterday?
It might be a bit tough. I think, as we've touched on, there is this like adjustment period to the stage. Given that they've not played in this environment at this event, at least, right? So I think that's maybe something. And then also, I think this crowd might be a bit difficult for them to work against. You know, I think the Eternal Fire Academy support is going to be quite loud, quite rambunctious. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think it will be a real challenge for sure. But given where we're at veto-wise, I think Endpoint get to start off on two pretty comfortable maps for them in Mirage and Inferno. So I do feel that they'll very quickly hit the 2-0, and then there'll be some serious pressure on the overpass, which again doesn't really fit in as like a punish map. You know? So it is certainly interesting that Eternal Fire Academy have gone maybe to play more their own game. I guess that's maybe what they feel with their experience and usual level and whatnot, that it's like, okay, let's play our own game, let's see how that looks against Endpoint, let's use this as a proper solid opportunity. I think there's a little bit of an energy, isn't there, for an academy team like this, that they're a little happy to be here. whether they can beat a top European team that they may well even learn from in places is another question. And unfortunately, you have to be a little bit realistic about that as a team as well. So, yeah, I think it's going to be tough. I think the way that the veto's gone down is maybe a little bit sideways. It would have been nice to see the Ancient that got banned, which we're certainly questioning, but definitely the Anubis, which is already in the series, maybe come out a little bit earlier just to kind of put some pressure on Endpoint.
Yeah, any map where maybe it's a bit hard for Swisher to play. I mean, no, we're not saying anything about him, but in terms of integrating him into the team, making it functional on maps that are a little bit more tricky to play versus your more traditional maps that he's bound to have more experience on. Maybe that could have been a move, but either way, yeah. I mean, Eternal Fire, as an academy team, what an experience they have to play a grand final, best of 5 on LAN for some of these players. You're not going to get this sort of thing very often against a team of Endpoint's caliber. So, good chances there to learn. And I guess from the Endpoint perspective, you know, they're not playing with their full lineup. That's always going to hamper, you know, the overall growth they can have as a team. But as we've said, the only other time they played a LAN final, they lost. So, what have they learned from that? Are they going to approach this differently? Is there even aspects, you know, setting up on stage, you know, getting your configs ready? You know, all of this stuff matters when you're playing on LAN. It's not like playing at home where you're on your own setup, everything works perfectly. You've got to be able to adjust to different, you know, circumstances, desk sizes, whatever. That is just the reality of playing in an open circuit like we have in Counter-Strike. So, I don't know, man. I'd love to see Endpoint play great, but I've learned my lesson never to bet on Endpoint to not break me in the end.
Anything is possible, I suppose, in a situation like this. It's probably quite hot over there as well. It's one of the big things for the UK-bound team to deal with.
Can you imagine hot weather training for Counter-Strike? Like,
listen, man, I think we're going to have to do a bit more of it, you know? I think there's going to be a lot more tournaments played in the hot weather, so...
Can you imagine people flying to like the south coast of Italy or something to boot camp in the heat? Or you just lock the door in your boot camp room and steam it up?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say it doesn't sound like the worst thing in the world, but then when you put it like that, I don't know that would be ideal, really. Not a big fan of the heat, but I like the sun, but I don't like the heat that comes with it, so you can't really win in that sense. Yeah, I don't think you can get one without the other, to be fair. How do we feel about Slend, by the way? We had, obviously, the head-to-head up on screen there. I'm quite liking what I'm seeing out of Slend. You know, I think it was definitely a gap that needed to be filled, and certainly a gap that was there for a little while. I think Crucial definitely looked good moving into the breach, and then MHL came in briefly. Didn't really, for my money, get to see as much out from him in the months that he was there. You know, there wasn't a lot of time for him to scale up, but now Slend looks pretty solid, I have to be I'm liking what I'm seeing. He's still a pretty young talent.
I've heard good things from Hungarians about his play beforehand, touting him as a fairly hot prospect. The honest truth is I haven't seen that much of Slend playing. Endpoint hasn't played that many tournaments, at least that I've covered, as of late. So, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to see more of him play. He certainly has some skills. I think for Endpoint, and maybe for Max as a leader, and obviously they had a coaching switch as well, you know, when you move from someone like Crucial to an MHL or maybe a Slender now, there's more earnest on having that player taking more upon themselves, you know, getting used to that, handing them the space, how much can they call around themselves, what entry opportunities do they have, can they play off their spawns. If you're going to give them all this space, that is a very different look to how Crucial was used, at least whilst I was coaching that team. So maybe there's aspects there where, you know, it not necessarily just Slend, it's also how the team uses him. So it'd be interesting to see how they develop. But yeah, I mean, if we're talking about Endpoint and how they get back to being a top 50, 40, 30 team, Slend needs to maybe be one of the best players alongside Heavy God with the lineup, and you know, growing into playing LAN finals and being maybe the best player today on the server. That's part of that. He needs to go through that, you know, growth period.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think this will be a pretty good tournament for him to sort of prove where he's at in that sense as well, and whether he can perform at a bit of a higher level. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a bit more maybe reliability here. MHL really did have some great performances, but his consistency wasn't as good, I would say. Again, it was sort of an era where I didn't get to see much endpoint either. So I think you and I maybe went through a bit of a period in like 21, 22 of casting this team an awful lot in your challenger leagues and things like this, but more recently not so much, I suppose. But always paying attention, of course, to how well they're doing and how they're working their way through the rankings. But yeah, certainly I do feel, again, Endpoint as a talent house have done very, very well, so I definitely trust the process and the way in which they're able to train up players and get them comfortable and indeed get them working. So we're hoping that 2024 will be a big year, and maybe it begins here as well against the Eternal Fire Academy. Let's talk a bit more about them as well on the other side of things, of course. We had two really great players yesterday, if you maybe didn't catch those games. It was M-Star up against Yota. Really, really great alongside each other, to be honest, both towards the top end of the scoreboard. Cyber not too bad as well, in fairness, but I do feel that it was particularly Yota who was really, really impressive. Just, again, stats are one thing, but on the eye test, the way that he was approaching a lot of fights, the way he was staying very, very calm in those difficult situations, in those clutch situations, really impressed us, given the age and given, in theory, the level of experience that he has. But it does seem that he is coming across quite natural in this kind of environment.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jota as well struck me as quite an aggressive player with how he's playing some positions yesterday. Not scared to get in the thick of the action. Be intriguing to see, because we know that as you go into playing higher and higher level teams, that aggression has to be tempered. You can't always be going in. You need to be looking for the gaps, having the right util, reading the situations correctly. So I'll be very interested to see if some of these Eternal Fire players who are aggressive leaning can adapt to that, can get in the right kind of mindset. Maybe they get punished by Endpoint. These will be big questions. Certainly during this series. They would have been on stage now for about 10 minutes. So I would have thought we're roughly ready to go. We're waiting for a little bit of an update. Looks like all the players are sat down. It's going to be a good sign.
Well, here's my hope. We've cut back to the Turkish commentators because the game is ready, and they're like, getting the game ready to go on screen, but they can't do that while they're on screen. That's what my detective skills are saying. But there's unfortunately no guarantee of that. And as Alan's kind of said there, as we're getting confirmed by the magic man in our ears, we're not getting too much information through at this point. So it is kind of just waffle at this point. Podcast mode, we like to call it, I suppose. So, yeah, I mean, you ever been to Turkey, Alan?
No, never. I think there's
I was really hoping to open a conversation there.
But I haven't. So for those that don't know, I'm part Cypriot, so in essence, I've been within a mile of Turkey, which is North Cyprus technically, as well. But I haven't been. So I think about going reasonably often, because it is, Mediterranean, warm, sunny, and a little bit cheaper than some European alternatives in the EU. So maybe one day. And I'll tell you what, if the orchestra's popping like this, maybe Istanbul is where I need to be.
I'd say so, man. The crossroads of the world is what they used to call it, of course. So I think there's a lot of history there. It would be a very cool place to visit, and I think it is starting to kind of move away from like our culture, and it would be a very different culture to experience as well. A very, very popular destination for a reason. So I'd very much like to give it a visit at some point. Who knows? Maybe next Monsters Reloaded LAN, they'll get us there on location.
Yes,
that'd be nice.
Yes, please.
Yes, indeed. Oh, there's a camera there, guy. Oh my goodness, guys. For goodness sake, honestly, that's crazy. At least they're not going in front of the camera, I suppose. But
Yeah. We've been given the option to throw to break, but I actually think we should stay on.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Because we know it's a grand
good
final.
vibes.
We want to be in there. We don't want to miss half the pissed around just because we needed the toilet. No, we can get through this. We can get through this. We can do this.
Yeah, for sure.
Prize for wise, guys. Second place, $6,000. Winner, $10,000. Spoke a bit about this yesterday, but in terms of, what we've got here is essentially the pinnacles domestically, at least in terms of, the main Eternal Fire team wasn't going to play in the qualifier. They had other stuff going on. Big Academy pulled out of, and the Big Proper are not here representing Germany. But elsewise, the idea is to be the best of their regions domestically. Then we come together as a four and play each other. it's a bigger prize pool than you normally get domestically. So for some of these teams, especially maybe Eternal Fire Academy, playing for a prize pool this big is serious for them. It's and even adding the country they're from and the value of the money there. It's a pretty big deal for some of these young players. If they can win $2,000 each, that's a holiday and then some.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, that's certainly going to sort you out for a little while and really just make you feel good, make you feel legitimized as well. I think as a player, that's often something that you may well struggle with if you're playing in the tier 3 and the tier 2. Everybody wants to be Munacy, but we don't quite have the apparatus in place to maybe prove yourself at such a young age, right? I think obviously he is a fantastic player, but there is also something about the CIS scouting and whatnot that really does make a difference. So that's something that is very curious, I think, for some of these players, that your platforms to prove yourself obviously going to be a bit harder or a different kind of avenue. And maybe a tournament like this is a world in which you can do that, prove yourself on a LAN in this kind of environment, get noticed by the main team, get a bit of recognition, bit of a cosign from Tulpars or something like that. And the world is your oyster from that kind of position. So
yeah,
we shall see if we get that kind of performance from any of the Eternal Fire Academy boys. Meanwhile, Endpoint side of things, just kind of trying to solidify themselves. It's like, okay, if you can clean up a tournament like this, try not to drop a map in the final, you start to look towards more of a top 50 position once again in the world rankings. And I think they need a bit more belief in themselves, prove to themselves that they are indeed a top level team, and ultimately a really solid unit as well is something that can be a bit of a tough thing to do when you've got this kind of tier 2 team. That there's obviously some stalwarts within this team, some players that I don't think are going anywhere ever, to be honest. They will be here until their careers end. But then you also have kind of the rotating spots, and it can be hard. You take a bit of a gamble on some young talent. Sometimes it pays off, right? As we've seen with the Nerds. Obviously had Mezzy in here for a spell as well. Sometimes it doesn't. Boros was a player for me that I think looked fantastic, but just never really gelled with the team. Individually looks great on the other teams that he plays in. Maybe he gels a bit better over there, but not necessarily on the Endpoint side of things. So there's always a bit of a risk with bringing in these young, seemingly talented players. There's maybe more that you have to deal with, though, than just fragging on the server.
Well, and there's the cycle of having to do it again. It's, you grow these players up, they move on to bigger outfits, and then you've got to do it all over again. And you've got to take those risks again. And just saying, it's there's no guarantees that player, is going to work in the long term. I think, it's a bit of a crude example. It's not perfect, but people want to understand what it's like bringing in a player. Think about getting into a relationship. You don't know somebody that well until you're a few months in. You don't know all the quirks. You don't know how it's going to function together. It's the same with a player. They might look brilliant for a week in scrims, but play 2 months, go and play a LAN. It's not guaranteed that it's going to work super well. And especially, if you're a top flight team, that player you're picking up has been, they've been to like 10 LANs in the last year because they played with, the 30th best team or whatever. The risk is so much lower. But when you're an Endpoint and you're, as well trying to target unsigned players to, of course, save on buyout costs, it's a wild west out there, man. It is hard work finding the right players, and particularly, I guess, Flames, Nerds, those two are great proof of finding the right players that are functional and got onto bigger teams. And Mezzy was a bit different because he'd already played for Cloud9, but sure. Maybe getting him back into the outfit. It's not easy what they do. And to also, it's hard to make money, let's be real. As an organization, it's hard to have that plus minus in the green. When you're selling players for a decent amount of money, that does a lot to justify your project at the end of the day. So, in a sense, worked as intended, I guess, Endpoint over the last couple of years.
Yeah, and obviously one of the few profitable organizations at the moment in the space. So they must be doing something right. That's for damn sure. And just run the UKIC really successfully. Very fun tournament, right? Really great energy around that. I think understanding how you need to play those domestic LANs. In particular, from a broadcast perspective, right? You're going to get the team signing up if you've got enough prize pool, but how do you get people watching? How do you keep them watching? How do you get them watching the entire thing? I think they had a really good system for that, and some great clips coming out of that as well. So, credit to what Endpoint do for the UK scene and Eternal Fire. On the flip side, we don't necessarily know, but there may well be an awful lot of domestic things that they do. I know that when Eternal Fire play and they whack up their own stream for the Turkish coverage, as they do sometimes, that's really popular and
nuts,
that finds a lot of success as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes completely outviewing the main English stream as well, which is brilliant. So two really, really good organizations within their own spaces, within their own countries, and coming to head in a nice way here for the competition. Speaking of, I believe we're being told the game should be a couple of minutes are the exact words. So we'll see. Some people have a very loose definition of what couple means, but that's fine. It's definitely 2 to me, but I think some people can use it a bit more
9
liberally. Yeah, especially, it's when people say it'll be a few minutes. Where's a few for you, Alex? What do you reckon?
Well, for me, it's 2 or 3, but
Okay, interesting.
Interesting. Many a time a girl has said, "I'm getting changed. I'll be a few minutes." It's like, nah, I'm gonna add a 0 to these numbers, and maybe you're in the right ballpark. So yeah, hopefully we're on the way soon. I think talking about Endpoint and building up a scene. When you combine what Monster Reloaded are doing with Eternal Fire Academy, now in the Grand Final 2, what a great platform for Turkish Counter-Strike. What a great platform for those players. They haven't had to travel far, presumably, to be here. They're at a home crowd. The Eternal Fire guys get to have their team playing in a Grand Final, best of 5. More tournaments domestically for them, good prize money, proper stage setup, cameras on. This is all incredible learning experience, and how many scenes have this? It's got to be said. I mean, as ESL walks away with doing a great deal of their national championships, there's a void. There's a void for national competition. Turkey had their own national championship, which presumably has gone out the way too. So, combine what some of these entities are doing in Turkey, and the future of Turkish Counter-Strike seems pretty prosperous. Looks like it's going pretty well.
Yeah, well, surely it's got to be one of those things as well where it could be difficult for them to play off against some of the European teams who are more Nordic, let's say, trying to find a server that works to play against them and get everyone on like an even ping, or even travel for more local European-based LANs. They are kind of technically in the MENA region, but can compete in the European region, so maybe if MENA was a bit more developed, they'd enter into those tournaments a bit more. It's kind of a difficult country, I think, geographically to place yourself well for different tournaments, and to travel for different tournaments and things like that. I think it certainly can be a challenge, and it really has to be a tournament that is worth your while to get in there and get that prize pool and potentially win it, etc. So in that sense as well, I think running things domestically is indeed just going to build up a lot more of these kind of tier 2 Turkish teams, if that makes sense. That's maybe not where they'd be placed in the general world of Counter-Strike, but in terms of Turkish Counter-Strike, for sure, the academy team falls into that. Sangal at one point did, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, but even they had to move away from it, I guess, right? Because it lacks a bit of depth, and there are a few regions like that. The Iberian region is another one where we have like one Portuguese team. Well, a couple, I guess, now, but it feels like there's not really as much depth in that region either.
Yeah. I mean, Martinez has just gone to South America. Exactly. That's not necessarily the best indictment of where Iberian Counter-Strike is at, let's be honest. You'd actually think it'd be the other way, is players from that region
you'd think, to play in Europe and look a bit more solid there. Oh, what does that say?
Hit a break screen.
A couple of minutes
on screen. What do we want to do? They're saying 5 minutes until they're on. Just wait for...
I feel like if we've got a break here on the screen, I feel like we should probably take one as well. Just to give us a bit of time and just to make sure that we don't chew everybody's ear off, to be fair. It's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed getting into it, and, you know, it's been a nice vibe, but I think we're going to have to take a break here as well, folks. So stick with us. You got the timer there on screen. You know how long it's going to be. Hopefully after that timer, we will be into game. But thank you very much for watching, and yeah, we'll be back with the Counter-Strike soon.
Çağrıya kulak ver. Rüzgarı hisset. Derin bir nefes al ve mükemmel bir deneyime odaklan. Hepsi gerçek. Sınırsızlığın tadını çıkar. Yaşa. İçindeki gerçek güçle oyunu yenilmez bir canavar gibi oyna. Monster Notebook'tan kuralları yeniden yazan.
Bugün onlardan biri ol. Ciddiye al. Oyunda kal. Anlatılacak bir...
Heroes. They're made of actions. They know how to win. They're out of this world. You know them. Be one today. Get serious. Be the story to be told. All you need is dedication, perfection, precision, a winning attitude. Become one with your duo and embrace the monster in you. Tulpar for serious.
İşte Monster Oyun Müzikleri Orkestrası. Sıra dışı, eşsiz bir ziyafetti adeta.
Heroes. They're made of actions. They know how to win. They're out of this world. You know them. Be one today. Get serious. Be the story to be told. All you need is dedication, perfection, precision, a winning attitude. Become one with your duo and embrace the monster in you. Tulpar for serious.
Oh, we're back. And we're hyped. We've seen the orchestra again. We hope the game is coming soon. We're hearing positive things, I want to say. Maybe not confirmation, but positive things. And we just want to get into the grand final because we're a little bit behind. And that's what we're here for at the end of the day. We love the vibes, the stage. But at the end of the day, it's about the competition. And we just want to get cracking, don't we?
Yes, indeed. I did say some people are a bit liberal with their usage of the word couple. And unfortunately, that has been the case here. But we are just kind of waiting around, ready to get the game underway on our end. And I think we've got a little bit of the Turkish commentators on the screen and all that sort of stuff. So we're feeling good, but there may well be a bit of an issue getting things started on the stage here, I think is part of the problem. Not been used as yet so far in the tournament and getting all the players ready and comfortable into the setup. You got 5 maps to play. It's obviously has the potential to be a pretty long affair, so you got to make sure that everything is fully ready, fully comfortable, which can be a bit of a challenge, when you're using the setup for the first time. So hopefully getting into the action quickly. If you are maybe just joining us, we can rehash and go over Eternal Fire Academy here, of course, after a pretty good first day, winning their matchup 2-1 against Heisers. Then we've got Endpoint on the other side of things, coming from that UK qualifier, Eternal Fire Academy. If, again, maybe you are a bit unaware from the Turkish qualifier, Endpoint ended up beating Divine Vendetta yesterday. Also in a 2-1 fashion. That's kind of where the surprise was. The fact that Divine Vendetta were able to take the Mirage away from them. The pick of Endpoint, really, really interesting stuff. However, I do believe we are ready for the game, I think is what I have just been told. And we are into the action. Okay, here we go. This is what CS looks like. I'd nearly forgotten, but we're here. Mirage, pistol round, T-side for Eternal Fire Academy. They're headed towards the A-bomb site, Alan, and Endpoint look incredibly ready for this with 4 players here.
They've done their homework. Absolutely. So many in attendance. If anybody takes contact, what's happened? They've lost 2 immediately. Slend is still behind, Triple doing work, and Azuru baited in the end. My God. That got a little bit scary, but this player swinging from CT. How on earth has Cyber found that kill on Swisher? Oh my Lord. That should have been comfortable, Scrib, but it required a 4K from Slend to win a round where they were 4 stacking the site.
Yeah, well, again, Eternal Fire Academy looking very, very, very solid straight out of the gate, right? Able to match up, able to nearly get the drop on Endpoint there. I think that would have been a hell of a thing if they beat out the stack. But as you said, Slend with a heck of a start. So hopefully we get a bit more of that from him. We do have the pistol buy coming in here. Mac 10 in tow as well, but ultimately a force buy from Eternal Fire Academy is what's going to be required.
So no plant, so they can't muster any rifles. Dumped a lot of their util here for mid control, and now they're going up cat. There's only one on B. There's only one on B. Really bad timing for Endpoint. One player alone as M-Star pushes in. The others isolated out in market. Just now rotating their way over. Slend doing work. Azuwu gets himself on the site proper. The player lurking through window at the moment here. Very awkward engagements for Endpoint. And these have been some explosive hits. This time, though, with 4 players alive. Order should be restored. Cyber surely can't get much of it done in this round. Runs out of ammo. And this is Carnage, Squiv. They are all over the map.
It is kind of wacky.
Why did Endpoint go solo
pause.
B? I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, again as well, right? Like for the next follow-up round is kind of a bit of a rarity, but they're somehow making it work, and Slender's is having a great day so far. Lots of damage, lots of frags, as yet to be fragged. Timeout coming round. It is a CT timeout, in fact, I believe I saw there. So that's certainly interesting here. I think they're just taking a moment to gather their bearings. What are we expecting here? Where should their economy be at? How do we deal with these next couple of rounds? So Endpoint not messing around. And something that we talked about as well with the way that this tournament is formatted from like a in-game perspective. They have a lot of timeouts. They have a lot more timeouts than they are used to in the sort of conventional quote-unquote setup. So Endpoint, I think, today of all days should look to abuse that fact in a way. 6 timeouts throughout the entire map to work with is a lot. Usually they get half that. So I think they are realizing that fact and looking to utilize it to the best of their ability.
Certainly can be liberal in the use. Maybe here even a quick discussion of what went wrong last round. That might have been warranted. To play a top mid second Delpan for Endpoint. And now they're stuck. And could definitely do some help. That is a beefy nade. To plenty of players. I see what gun is dropped top mid. Nobody's sprinting off to get it. So maybe just an SMG or something of the sorts. Either way, we're not expecting too much, are we, in this round? From Eternal Fire Academy. They just want to keep the money a little bit honest for Endpoints.
All right, we'll see here. So we've got to be a bit careful as this smoke goes down. Creeping forwards. 2 players on the other side of this one, though. Might not be the easiest for him, but he gets it done. That tag from Max definitely helping the situation. Colors also finished off. So Surreal making an awful lot of cash in the end, actually. We'll be really happy with that. Are we going to get a bonus out here from Endpoint? Are we going to see some upgrades into the weaponry? Only 1 M4. Probably 2. Although they might decide to use this 7k to go towards an AWP. No. We're getting a scout. All right. Definitely interesting. Endpoint really cheeky on the buy here, I have to say.
The scout was dropped over someone who had it last round, but yeah. Maybe some aggression with the SMG. Bamas in tow, let's see. Bit of a pause out, hopefully just a tactical pause of nature. As we get further into this one. Okay, we're live again. So just a short pause. First buy for Eternal Fire Academy. This man, Jota. The cheeky skin. Excellent player yesterday. He was good. He was great. M-Star was the other star player. And I think in terms of names that could give Endpoint trouble, we need to see them in great form during this series, don't we? And what better place to start? T-side of Mirage. I'm sure they played a lot of it in swims, in officials, and in pugs. This should be the home territory of the young star player. Another pause. I suspect of a technical nature, given that it came after what looked like attack pause, so just sit and wait this out a little bit. Hopefully, for you watching at home, we're underway again soon. Of course, a little bit delayed getting in, so we'd like to have the action thick and fast. Ah. The dreaded Technic Moller. It's going to be ingrained in my brain when I go to sleep tonight. In my nightmares.
It's a terrifying sight. Yeah, it really is a terrifying sight for sure. But not much can be done. We have to work our way through and hope that it doesn't last too long. We did okay yesterday. We had a little bit of an extended one.
I know they should have Squib.
A few minutes.
I know what they should have. When it's a technical pause, they wheel out the orchestra to play like dramatic, scary music during the technical pauses.
The background tunage.
That's what we need. Backing music.
We needed Yeah, we needed to like record them, didn't we? And then we could play it at a moment's notice, so to speak. Because I would feel bad for them if they get wheeled out, play about a minute, and then have to stop.
Did you see the drum kit was on like a moving platform? They wheeled the
really?
whole
I didn't
platform
notice
off
that.
with the drum kit on it.
That's gaming.
I want that in my garage. I want that.
I mean, that's life. That is a good life, and I'm glad you call it a garage, not a garage. To be fair, so because you are down that way. To be fair.
Yeah, but I'm just into the the garage tunes. Clearly.
Well, okay, yeah, fair.
Clearly.
Yeah.
I know how to have a Saturday night. Oh, are we underway? I think we're going. We're back.
I think we are underway.
We're in the
I saw
action.
some text on the screen. Hell yeah. So that's good. We'll take a tech pause like that doesn't last too long. Gives us a bit of a breather, maybe. I think we've had plenty of time to breathe.
I was going to say I'm running out of material here.
But all the same, it's not awful. It's not awful. Right, into the rifle round. A lot of build-up coming into this. Our very first one, taking us a long time to get here. Colours sends it mid and will meet an early grave. Not the best start at all for the Eternal Fire Academy buy. No real damage traded back. He was just absolutely bested there by the flashes. Orp is out. Mac's got to be a bit careful with that peek round the corner. Slend looking for an opportunity here as his smoke dissipates. Actually opting not to stick around, though, which in a way would be the smart move, right? Scout against the Orp. He knows how that battle generally goes. So they'll give them the mid control, but of course they've got the man advantage and looking for a deep A-take in towards the ramp. Yota, tough fight for him. Jitters getting the best of him there in that spray down. A man advantage looking damn good for Endpoint. Azu with the hold. They are seemingly firmly in the heads of their opponents with this positioning right now. Really well read in terms of how they're going to respond to each and every move that Endpoint are making.
And the bomb might be dropped here in the B apartments. Making a lot of noise. Actually, Scotland gets the frag, so bit of a surprise there, but we're cyber tagged. There could be a bomb plant, which actually would be a result. 2v5. They'll be on maximum loss bonus should they lose this round. So this could actually make a lot of difference for an investment. 8 HP though. Everything from here is a bonus. Even a frag would be pretty good going. Doesn't get that, but a bomb plant, not bad for him. But for the team overall, that round was already lost. That was a commanding round. Endpoint fought mid.
A really solid
They got
start.
the opening kills. They gave mid, pushed both the extremities. They also had B-Apps control. And they got everything they wanted. So that was definitely a round where Endpoint the whole time did whatever they wanted and had absolute command of the map. So can't allow that too often if you're Eternal Fire Academy, or this is not going to be a terribly long half.
Colours, again, looking to try and find an entry here out on towards this A-bomb site this time around. It is, again, very, very aggressive. And maybe indeed too aggressive. Endpoint ready positionally. Shots not quite landing there for Max, but the advantage looks solid. 2 remain for Eternal Fire Academy. They've got the drop on these 2 players as well, so should be able to deal from here. But there is some of the explosiveness that Eternal Fire Academy have been showing in this tournament thus far. Doesn't quite work in the end, just a bit too steep of a hill to climb.
Clean as can be. Slend off to an epic start. He'll be very happy. Of course, pissed around was the perfect way to open the game with 4 frags. And it has been comfortable since then. Not surprising, is it, to see a pause from Eternal Fire Academy. Find myself. Yeah, this is their map pick, isn't it? Because Inferno was endpoints. So, not looking amazing at the start here. Clearly some work to do. No. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm pretty sure this is the Eternal Fire's pick. That would make more sense. Yeah, it is. Okay. That's why Endpoint has CT.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we should expect a little bit more out of Eternal Fire. They certainly want a doable scoreline. at the half switch. This one's just going to be a half buy, but even getting this endpoint money down a little bit would be a result right now, wouldn't it? Because it's starting to get a little bit out of control.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a tough one. They obviously lost it yesterday, but Endpoint still had the confidence to pick this, so it's a difficult read. It is a very difficult read here. Surreal going to go overlooked. Oh, man, and the comms just not quite there to deal with him. Ultimately, onto the Deagle to find the final frag, and he will. Big 4K from Surreal. Absolutely huge for number 6. Just fending them off so well. Incredibly effective stuff. And, yeah, this is looking very scary very quickly for Eternal Fire Academy, isn't it? They're not putting up an awful lot that is impressing us. 1 bomb plant thus far in the 6 rounds. It's not a great look. 2 players above 10k on the endpoint side, you know. That's really not great when a CT side is able to balloon their economy that much.
This is a statement. Top spawn jumping out a window. 2 players in that opening now to underpass. And Surreal even gets an aggressive A kill on towards ramp. Endpoint's playing with their food. They can do no wrong. They're absolutely flattening Eternal Fire Academy right now. This is the most brutal round yet. And not even a single kill. Wow, that's a statement. I guess you're feeling more confident about your 3-0 prediction now.
Yeah, I think so, to be honest with you, man. Like, this was a little bit, well, maybe not this much, to be fair. You know, there really is a lack of fight in Eternal Fire Academy, but, you know, you're getting used to the stage setup, the noise, the importance of comms and getting it out cleanly, making sure there's no clutter on the microphone, so to speak. Then just the fact that Endpoint are kind of the favourites moving into this. Bit of nerves associated for Eternal Fire Academy, right? You feel like the stakes are even higher for them with the home crowd watching them. It can spur you on, but it can also put the pressure on as well. And then I think one of the big things is just the fact that Endpoint have had that time to warm up and get into the system, and they know that it's like, okay, this is going to be a game and a tournament of fighting, of really taking the scraps. Eternal Fire Academy really not wasting much time. It is kind of like watching those national championships and whatnot, where teams don't utilize the full 2 minutes. You know what I mean? They just kind of go charging in, looking for the fights, and trying to prove that they are the better players, which it's hard, man. When you're down as the underdogs, you kind of have to come in with a little bit of an extra level to your game rather than just relying on that individuality.
Yeah, this is looking a little bit brutal. Slender's 2 more kills than Eternal Fire Academy right now. That is unsustainable, let's say. And certainly during the gun rounds, Eternal Fire haven't at any point been able to play their own game. They're just getting aggressed upon, seeing the mid-aggression, the underpass setup. Yeah. I'm waiting to see more gun rounds to see if that can maybe get averted a little bit. But so far, Endpoint have done exactly what they've wanted practically all of these rounds. Don't forget the pistol too. I mean, it did go close, but Endpoint made the right read as well. So maybe some prep playing a part too. We need to see something from Eternal Fire, or our pessimism is going to stay just that. That is better though. Entry for Jota, one of their better players yesterday, and something to work with now if you're Eternal Fire.
Yeah, let's see what they can do from here, right? I think that is our big question. They have to absolutely get this one converted. Fair amount of utility remaining for both sides, but Eternal Fire Academy have got enough to work with there. It is just a case of how they recognize and understand how to convert this round. It looks like they want to end on that B-bomb site, Alan, which for me would potentially be the correct call. Certainly one of the shakier holds that Endpoint had yesterday.
Get the opener. A bit of a warning system too. Teammates behind and towards the doorway. And Switcher can't quite make it to. Max is the player that rotated over, and I think... I actually don't think they need to save Scriv. I think they should play for exits. This has become a much bigger thing in the last year or so, hasn't it? Understanding when it's good to try and take guns away, especially with the new bomb radius. I'd like to see them press a little bit harder, but either way, this will be Eternal Fire's round, and nice to see them get on the board, given how flat this game started.
Not going to be able to battle these saves very well. Looks like Jota is maybe going for it, but other than that, there's not really all that much presence once this bomb goes off.
They really shouldn't be hunting Scriv.
Plenty of time to save.
They really shouldn't
hunt,
I mean,
is
the T side.
I don't know. There's a fair bit of cash after the win, to be fair.
They got to rebuy. I don't know, man. It's part of the learning process, you know. When you're playing lower levels and you're playing, you know, teams that don't have that discipline, you don't learn it because maybe you just kill them all as you're hunting. And that's part of getting used to being a top-level professional, is understanding the economy, when to have some restraint. And what better place to learn? And here in the grand final, Zulu certainly thought of going into ladder room there, but instead decided, I'm going to play on the bricks. Ladies wipes the window smoke for a second. They haven't seen anything. Slen's on this deep angle in the apartments. Did he just see an arm? He might have.
He feels pretty confident around here, doesn't he, to be fair? Big angle, especially as there's a weird little fight going down in towards middle. Can't land the shot. Spots the info. Going back in for a repeat. And that may well just cost him his life. Chased down. Azuo is around for the trade just after the Molotov as well to make sure there's no more bodies from Eternal Fire. M-Star up through short, however, may well be unexpected, but Azuo still reacts to find the frag. Swaps across to the AK, looking for a little bit more, and he may well just get it. Cyber to clutch up against 3 in total, bringing it down to just 1 now. A huge round on the cards here for Eternal Fire if he can get this one done. It's Mighty Max, the in-game leader, to stop him. Bomb has yet to be planted. And Cyber doesn't quite know where to go. 1 versus 1. So important. Where's he going to plant for? He feels so shaky here, man. He's going to go safe towards the market edge. Seems to be weary of short, right? Reckons that's got to be one of the only areas that he can be coming from. Now going to clear out market, kind of confirming that fact. In fact, playing in the market, playing around that bomb. A really unorthodox T position. But Max also relatively savvy as to where he could be. Couple of flashes, a nade, not really the ideal nadage, but it doesn't matter. Max will take the peak. Maybe just spotted him crossing in towards market there for that clutch. And heartbreak for Eternal Fire Academy, you have to say.
Absolutely. They needed to chain rounds together. I felt Cyber played it pretty good. I mean, he got a wide plan, got himself back into a safe position. Max just won the duel in the end. Maybe he didn't need to face it all. I'm not sure. Of course, on board with Max's perspective, so he didn't quite see exactly what happened from Cyber's point of view. Either way, they need rounds, man, don't they? This buy will be okay. One of the players doesn't have any nades, and certainly could have got a Galil drop, so not sure what's going on there. Max has jumped down aggressively, gets the first. There was a player coming down into underpass anyway, so maybe he's always going to be felled. Azu gets another. There's a player scaling short that's colours at the same time. So maybe he needs to be a little bit nervous of ladder room here, and I don't think Azu is aware. He's back through window. He's not looking up towards ladder, so colours peaks. Could be a frag.
I like the position that Colours has. Gives a lot of info that there's not really any presence out towards short at the moment. No one rotating that way. Switcher, well, I was going to say in the off angle. Ooh, sticking around the flames, takes the peak. A little panicked from him there, I think. He had the right idea to just sort of get away, but yeah, now it becomes a real problem. Azuru unable to find the trade that drops the control of the round for Endpoint. Surreal back with the trade. 2-on-2 kits available. AWP, though, is very awkward on the B retake, man. It's a very, very, very close-knit bomb site here. Unless you go peeking into the AWP, that doesn't really help your situation very much. Colors alone. 2 to find. Another clutch required by Eternal Fire Academy. Definitely possible here. Creeping around the corner. That's where they both await. Can't net the first frag. And that will cost him. Surreal is quick enough to make sure that Endpoint get it. Double digits going to be hit here. A dominating display from Endpoint. Definitely sweating a bit more in the recent rounds, but still converting them.
Made to work for it. Made to work for it. It looked actually really good here for Eternal Fire. I think what happened here, Scriv, was that player got out short, and then Swisher said, I can't move. I can't get out of here, because if I move, I'm exposed to short, I might die. I think that's why he committed. It looks a bit awkward. Maybe could have done with saving his smoke. Deploy on Van. But next time, either way, yes, it's been a little bit sketchy in the last few, but Endpoint built up such a buffer early on in this half. Double digits now. If they can make this 11... that would be a statement and reminder, guys. Eternal Fire's map pick is Mirage. It's a map that Endpoint lost yesterday to Divine Vendetta. A combination of players from the Arab Peninsula mainly, and then Tutton, just why not? Around for the fun. They look deflated, man. Playing this round so slow, Eternal Fire Academy. Plan is clearly for an A hit, but Endpoint has seen this a million times before. They know what they're doing.
Colors leading the charge out on towards A here. Simple A execute to open us up. Azuru unable to make it away. Does capitalize though, you know what I mean? Like you see that Molotov come in, but it's a little late. Maybe shouldn't have even been able to get away with anything. Great flash in. Unable to convert the frags, though. Still a chance, maybe, for Skolan. There was a few low HP bars in there, but just couldn't work his way down to those low HP players. 11-1. Heck of a thing in the first half. Endpoint sending a clear message that they are not here to mess around. Absolutely brilliant stat lines from some of their players as well. 14-5, 13-3. Really, really great. And I think this might just be a sign of what's to come.
You see there on the scoreboard, the first rounds were extremely dominant. Later in the half, made a much better go of it, Eternal Fire Academy, but as we're saying, the clutch factor, the class, the retakes, too much to handle. Where was this Endpoint yesterday? This is a very different team to one that took on Divine Vendetta, and 2 rounds, Scriv, I mean, that should be a walk in the park for a team like Endpoint.
You would indeed assume so. Switcher leading the charge out on towards B. Finds the frag. It's all part of the plan. A little bit weird here. The bomb actually commits when there's 3 out on A. Oh, I'm not so sure. Surreal going to go down, as does Switcher. They've now got control of the bomb and the man advantage. Bit weird if you... I was like, okay, this is a bit of a fake out play, see what they can find. Switcher dedicating into the bomb site, kind of get that, but the bomb itself, definitely an oversight there from Endpoint. Kind of an 11-1 oversight for sure. But it may well extend this game unless they can recover things here. Plenty of time to do it is the key thing.
Is Scotland aware there can be more players from the apartment side? Now repositions. Zuwu takes the duel, needs to win it. Yes, he does. 40 seconds remaining. 1 player sight, 1 behind the pillar for Eternal Fire. That's a big kill. Now can both focus on Azuo. They know where it was. That is brutal. And this young man is determined that this pistol round is indeed going the way of Endpoint. 4 bullets left. We're in the chamber now. This is perilous stuff. Who bites first? It's Azuwu. And that is brutal. Can't even win that round. I'm feeling for them, Scriv. I'm feeling for them because even in these moments where it looks so advantageous, Endpoint just find a way.
Yep. Endpoint bringing an A game, man. Looking super, super comfortable in the stage environment right now. Eternal Fire Academy, yeah, so close. So close, but there's actually been a good 4 or 5 rounds that they could have converted but haven't. Not too many of them maybe falling into that category of should convert, so we're not going to flame them too hard, but definitely a few in there where I think they will believe in their own minds that they should have done it. Looking to be the final round here. Switcher will open up in Palace. That might just be the final nail in the coffin, beginning to get hammered in here. Surreal creeping up through connector, trying to see above the smoke. Cyber doesn't quite give his position away. M-Star going to go down, though. Not looking too good. There goes the Scout of Cyber. Just the B players remaining then to save the game. A Deagle, an MP9, a Turkish Dream, perhaps. But certainly, yeah, not going to be easy. If anything, it's probably going to be impossible. Colors all alone. Can he give us anything? No, he cannot. A flawless round to finish off what is nigh on a flawless game. 13-1. Endpoint sending a clear message after that map, Alan.
That is fearsome. That is frightening. That is domination. Out from Endpoint. I mean, they can't be disappointed about that performance. Couldn't have gone any better, and I can almost guarantee you that crowd probably is a little bit muted after such a performance. I don't really know what to say. Maybe Endpoint heard we were behind schedule because we're right back on it now.
Yeah, I suppose so. That is the one silver lining of the whole show. But yeah, Eternal Fire Academy, I think we wanted a bit more from them to just show the competition. They were supposed to look decent here at the very least. They have picked into it, right? But that's kind of the danger. We did talk about this, that the veto was maybe a little sideways from them. Some of the maps that were included, the order in which they were included. Endpoint obviously picked Mirage yesterday. It did go a bit south, but it was close, first of all, and obviously a map that they are confident enough to play in the LAN environment. Now we've got Inferno coming up next, one of their best maps at the moment. It's going to be a quick 2-0, isn't it, really, in their favor already? Yeah, no, I know, but I mean,
oh, I see what you mean.
A 2-0 secured, and then 3 in a row required from Eternal Fire Academy, which is a really scary prospect for them. So I just think the whole thing is now looking very, very difficult, and this whole bounce back factor is not going to be easy.
Absolutely. I mean, we want to, paint this as a competitive final. We want more out of Eternal Fire Academy, but the fundamental truth is we didn't see a great deal there on map 1 to inspire us with confidence. Yesterday, of course, they played a great game versus Heisers. A lot of good rounds. Composure and firepower and aggression and being decisive. But unfortunately, in this game, manhandled for most of it. Endpoint were able to play their own Counter-Strike. Dictated a lot of rounds. When they got aggressive, they didn't get all the opening picks. When their opponents were getting aggressive, they were ready and waiting and had total composure. So, yeah, there's not much more to say, is there? Pretty much perfect from Endpoint, and they should be very happy now as we look towards changing maps.
Yeah, I would think so. Very, very pleased with how things went down there for Endpoint, and it may well be set to continue is kind of what we are getting at. Eternal Fire Academy, though, they've obviously got time. They've obviously got a lot of maps, and a bit of talk in the interim could do them a lot of good. Towards the end, started heating up a bit, brought the rounds a bit closer. There were a good 7 or 8 rounds for Endpoint in the beginning that just really were no contest. But it did get a bit better. Bomb plants, close clutch situations, just could not convert them, could not get them over the line. So maybe if that changes, maybe if their post-game changes, it could make things a bit more competitive. But it is obviously going to have to be quite a big change. And yeah, I would say in the post-plan, Inferno is probably one of the hardest maps to get that right. B-bomb site, so claustrophobic, utility kind of important, but also can't waste any time getting in. And the A-bomb site can be very, very difficult if they've got repeat smokes and things, particularly from a CT perspective. Retaking that A-bomb site is pretty much impossible these days. So it will be hard for them. It will be very hard for them. But we are indeed rooting for Eternal Fire Academy to give us a bit more Counter-Strike.
Yes, indeed. We hope for a bit more, but unfortunately they're down. At least on their map pick, that was Mirage gone by. Next up, as said, will be Inferno. We can take a quick break, and we'll be back We'll see if Endpoint can indeed go 2 ahead in the series. We'll see you then.
Heroes. They're made of actions. They know how to win. They're out of this world. You know them. Be one today. Get serious. Be the story to be told. All you need is dedication, perfection, precision, a winning attitude. Become one with your duo and embrace the monster in you. Tulpar, for serious.
Çağrıya kulak ver. Rüzgarı hisset. Derin bir nefes al.
Heroes. They're made of actions. They know how to win. They're out of this world. You know them. Be one today. Get serious. Be the story to be told. All you need is dedication, perfection, precision, a winning attitude. Become one with your duo and embrace the monster in you. Tulpar for serious.
And we're back. Inferno, map 2. Straight into the action. No messing about this time, Scriv. And what's there to say? We need a little bit more from the Turks, don't we? A little bit more from Eternal Fire Academy before we start believing we've got a real competition here on our hands.
We shall indeed have to see whether we get that. I'm hoping that we do. I'm hoping that we do. Eternal Fire Academy, I think they've got so much more to give, to be honest. Great individual play from them yesterday. We want to see a bit of that into Inferno. A nice middle ground map for a lot of teams. Julie's out for Surreal. He's so very blind. Mighty Max comes through the smoke and not so mighty. Only one frag for him. Jota with the deep presence in towards CT will manage to take another name. So, 4 versus 2, that they aren't even going to attempt here, Alan. They will save what they have. They've not taken any damage, these remaining two players, so they'll get cheaper head armor into the next round. Or they could perhaps just stay with the Kevlar and get themselves a FAMAS or something like that to go alongside. So it makes a bit of sense, but a great start from Eternal Fire Academy.
Just what the doctor ordered. Quick entries, traded Max. Jota looked like he pushed the CT smoke and got all the way into tree. Deep there in CT, so... I mean, it was an aggressive pistol, and that's what we want to see. We want to see Eternal Fire Academy playing their own game, you know. Even in a world where this series is beyond them, go down swinging. Go down fighting. Play your own Counter-Strike. Give this a good stab. Hopefully have some good conversations between the maps, and, you know, as we were saying yesterday, I think it's pretty likely there are some people from in and around Eternal Fire, the main team, be on location, so maybe some wise words, just saying, you know, relax, play like you would in practice, you know. Doesn't need to feel that different now on stage. Of course, being young players, it's hard to always remember that, isn't it? Hopefully they continue. Got to get past this force by, though. We know they can be potent for the CT side, so focus up, Eternal Fire Academy. We need a clean round here.
Oh, early tag from Slend. Could be dangerous. B presence from both sides, but it is a smoke down from Eternal Fire. Sorry, from Endpoint that's going to keep Eternal Fire at bay. But they're still feeling the B bomb site. Now we know there is something up over here. Azuu in particular with this FAMAS on high. 2 more players around him really could do some damage.
Max is
Surreal's got a nice
a
flash lined up
to break the smoke in CT, so this setup could be deadly.
Really, really dangerous stuff on the cards here. A couple flashes coming round from Surreal. A weird little smoke for Azuu to work with as well. Max going to blow that smoke. Knows that there's no one in behind it, but look at Azuu go here. So much damage. Doesn't quite find the kills, but he has dished it out. Unfortunately, Surreal goes down maybe a little too easily, and that begins to give the game away. 4 versus 3. Smokes, you got to wait for them to dissipate. You know, they're into the post-plant positions. Endpoint don't feel confident. They will pull away and give the round across. If only they knew how low those players were, but unfortunately they don't, and therefore Eternal Fire will get away with it.
Okay. Max caught. He tries to get out. It's a good try from Endpoint, as you're saying. I think it looked like Azuu up on second did a lot of damage to multiple players. Just unfortunately couldn't combine with his teammates for all too many frags. Max deployed his nade. Can't blame him, but the players hadn't started crossing when that nade landed, so he didn't actually get a good fight on the cross. Nevertheless, it felt like the right idea from Endpoint. And they were on a lesser buy, so we can't fault them too much. On the flip side, though, from what could have been a very scary situation, Scriv, 4 players alive, rifles saved through, it's looking a lot rosier, of course, than how Mirage started, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there is that. Still going to be a tough one for me to keep this rolling. I think that Endpoint, once they get their rifles out, it will change for sure. But, you know, the pistol round, we talk about it an awful lot. There can be an unpredictable element to it for sure, so that does make it very, very challenging to deal with from time to time. And that may well be the case here. And as said, that round could have really flipped if Surreal got a bit of spam down himself. 2 very easy kills on the cards. He just got instantly ruined, so not much you can do from there. Now, the dreaded... Oh! Technic Molar, but it is a short Molar, and we are indeed back into the action here.
Perfect.
With a tiny bit of presence from Endpoint.
Okay, so... pretty heavy eco. Couple of saves through from the previous. I guess if the Mag 7 can find a cheeky spot, maybe there is a route to doing some damage here, but more than anything, we're just waiting to see how much Endpoint can keep that Eternal Fire money in check. I thought they might go for a stack here, but they're actually playing pretty standard. I mean, they got this Apps aggression, but that shouldn't be too surprising for the T side to come up against. Okay, they're rerouting. They've seen nothing in apartments. They can leave the sole player and send everyone else off to B.
Switcher with the Mag 7. Oh, man. He could have an opportunity. They're coming his way. He's dedicated. He's sticking around despite the action on the B-bomb site. One! Oh! Couldn't get the shot off for the second. He was definitely on crosshair-wise, but just couldn't get the recock in time. A little bit of tradeage here on the B-bomb site, but eventually the kills come round for Eternal Fire Academy. So, nice to keep the damage coming, particularly if you're Switcher. Lovely cash injection for him into this round, but at the end of the day, Eternal Fire Academy not too bothered by the losses. They will be looking to keep this one rolling, Alan, as the fourth round certainly on the cards, and I think it gets very, very interesting if they can display some dominance here in the first rifle round.
Absolutely. Let's see what they have for us. It would be a surprise if they didn't have, you know, some structure here on Inferno. Such a played map, such an iconic map. So let's see. Bit of early damage onto Surreal. Not the easiest site to play on low health either. And elsewhere, playing into mid or endpoint. Player up close, that's a Zuwu. Orpa Slend, just on the angle holding mid. And it looks like Max is taking a lot of banana control. Remolly for Car, surely has to give this. Oh, he's got a bit of a gap behind it. Thinks he did. Tags that Molotov a little bit. Max is sticking out a long time here. This smoke is not a wall. It's not going to be up forever. And just... oh my lord. How on earth has he found that? Kill collected. He's very low, as is Surreal. But for now, man advantage for Endpoint. And the call is in. Get over to B, lads, as players come in.
Yeah, they're very ready on the Endpoint side of things, aren't they? Even despite being blinded and not really having the most vision in the world, they're able to get 2 kills. What is going on here? Azuwu running into a player. Doesn't quite know what's going on. I think he's kind of running into 2 players, ultimately. They'll start to suss each other out, and down goes Azuwu. With that, there goes the round. And Eternal Fire, they really have found a hole over on this B-bomb site. Looking great with the attacks over there.
It's looking good. That was with an entry. Granted, very low HP on those 2 B players for Endpoint, but... well executed. Good opening kills as they ran onto B. Got a bit funky there in and around the coffins. But they're not going to care, our Eternal Fire. It's already looking a lot better. Endpoint could buy around this, dropping M4s on these 2. But in general, look at that. Triple nade doing a lot of damage to Surreal. Max here did lucky. You know, he's lucky to get that kill through the smoke, so he could have been even more dominant from that CT, from that terrorist side. What is going on there?
Just a bit wild, isn't it? Again, players comically do not realize when they are running into each other inside smokes until they sort of look at the minimap like, I should be making progress here. I should be moving forwards. We have to investigate what is happening. Always a battle of wits, so to speak, in that kind of a position.
It's like driving with your handbrake on. Sometimes you don't realize until embarrassingly late that is the case. And bad news for you, Slend. Peeks out towards mid, straight into Cyber's Orb, as does Zuwu. Banana might be claimed, but that's all the info they needed on the T side, isn't it? They've killed 2 A players. They know numbers are B. Easy call to explode out of apartments. And this will be a clean 5 for Eternal Fire.
Yeah, really, really impressive stuff. Again, there is a save on the cards for Endpoint, but very good to see from Eternal Fire Academy. This is on a different bomb site as well, is one of the things for me, right? We've seen them look pretty good over on B there, but can they replicate the same kind of success on A? Well, it would turn out they can. This game gets more and more curious. Max has come away with a free rifle there. Lovely find from him. But yeah, this is getting interesting. Eternal Fire Academy looking much more comfortable on the Inferno, which is a great sign of things to come. Have to keep this going a little bit further for us. But if they can get up to 6 or 7 rounds in a row, I think that's a solid first half, especially given the scores of the first map for sure.
It's not going to be long before we start asking questions of Endpoint, is it? In that territory now. Have to hit the ground running soon. This round, of course, a full investment. All the bells and whistles certainly could take Banana if they so desire. Early smoke out from one of the A players. I think it was Slend. At the bottom of Banana. Some nades as well, heaved over. Clearly want a bit of control. Halfway smoke. Smoke by the logs for Endpoint for now. Is they're content more so on playing the site. A little bit more passive. And for now, Eternal Fire agree. Let's play a slow round.
Yeah, I mean, a bit more pressure on this one, I think, because it is a key turning point within the half. Racket's presence coming in, flashing a smoke. But not really as much to speak of. Bit more textbook around like this from Eternal Fire, less aggressive and more thinking things out. They're going to go very fast in towards B. Baiting Surreal round with the peak. He doesn't have the support. Mighty Max back end of the site. In for a double kill. Azuru's here on the rotation as well. Oh no. Not looking too good, man. Bomb going to go down. Max with an incredible hold from second orange. And it is such an awkward position to stay alive from. So he has done brilliantly there. And that will give Endpoint their first round as well. The IGL, of course, the man to do it.
Felt like they did everything right on the T side. I'm not sure. They might have peaked before the CT smoke was up. Kind of felt that way. I'm not sure. Maybe it was wiped by
I
Zulu.
I think Azuru was actually on the other side of the map. I also assumed that it was from CT, but I did have a quick look. CT player was AWPing, so it can't have been Azuru there.
I'm not sure then. Could have been elsewhere. Either way, you know, the map that was starting pretty bad, if Max doesn't go nuclear there, they could be in a real hole. Credit to him. This round is primed to be an A1 from this T side. Look at this. 3 players already in apartments. Endpoint only 2 on the site. Slend could get caught out of position. As soon Flash is surely going to rain over. Players just contacting in. Slend with the first. That's over towards Boiler. Very awkward exchange. How on earth has Slend got 2? I can't believe that. Good hold. Might have got felled in the end, but they've left their teammates in an excellent position.
Sculling in towards Pit then, desperate to get out ultimately. Hoping for some fights to just give the swing back in his favour, but I think Endpoint with a decent amount of respect here, Alan. Giving him the space, and eventually the spam comes through from Azura, but no risky peeks, no aggressive moves, just really looking to try and contain him in that pit area. Second in a row for Endpoint. Money not quite there for Eternal Fire. They might try and have a look in here. There is a very quick buy-up from Yota. But the rest of the team may be looking to do something down the middle.
Sold.
Yeah, he's going to refund that AK as well. Yeah, fair. I think that is smart here.
Yeah. You've already got rounds. No fears about that. There is the grand final prize. The trophy. Plus $10,000 for the winner. I think it $6,000 if I recall correctly for second place. Crowd is roaring. It's a good turnout. I guess having Eternal Fire Academy in the final, even if the players are a little less recognizable, obviously the brand is very synonymous with Turkish esports, Turkish Counter-Strike, of course, in particular. Loving it. They're on camera. A moment in the in the limelight. Why not?
Yeah, I think it's quite lovely for sure. I would say that the Eternal Fire brand feels a little bigger at this point than maybe Space Soldiers were able to get to. Space Soldiers a bit more historic at this point, but I think Eternal Fire have built a bigger, more consistent kind of brand for sure.
Feels like more of a community, doesn't it? Because Space Soldiers sort of felt like an org, and then you had the players, whereas in my eyes, I associate Majors, Antares, Calyx with the org. And certainly, you know, we see the streams, we see the social medias. They're doing a great job of, you know, harmonizing with that viewer base. And building up a community. What have we got here? Nades ready to go. Players out of boiler. We've got to get a set of chained HEs onto pit, maybe? Unfortunately, Azuwu is not going to allow them to get that far. Now they're exploding HEs in a little bit late. And Azuwu's already repositioned. He was not in pit to eat those up. And Endpoint, they're turning up the gears here, aren't they?
Certainly does feel that way. In all honesty, replay looks pretty clean as well from the bird's eye view. Yeah, definitely happy with the way that Endpoint have been playing these past few rounds. Eternal Fire, though, of course, ecoing out the previous one, half buying out the previous one. Saving their cashola all the same, will go for a relatively decent buy here. I'd say lacking in the utility, so maybe an oversight on the half buy, to be honest. Utility very important on Inferno to just kind of bait it out of that CT side, particularly if you want to go B. You need to show some presence over there to draw smokes out of them. I don't know that Eternal Fire really have the real estate to do that right now. Flashing through the smoke. I'm going to try and give it their best go. 1-for-1 trade at the top end of Banana. However, there it is. Surreal gets the smoke down, stops them from getting any further. Buys time for that rotation to come in.
Endpoint really starting to lean B. Just leaving Azuwu. And he's not aggressive, he's just playing in towards pit. Yeah, his nearest rotates a long way out. Endpoint, for my money, overloading this B bomb site. I know it has been a liability, but it's been a long time since they've had information. Now a player's starting to push. The rotates are sprinting back towards Arch and Library. And fortunately for them, I guess, people are wrapping in this direction. Azura, though, has to stay alive. Going to buy a little bit of time for his teammates to get out of Library. Here they come. 2 for Surreal. Make it free. Like clockwork, they make it back in time. And Colors has a tall order. Doesn't expect to play near the hay cart. And Endpoint, you know, just in time, they're getting information and repositioning.
Yeah, unfortunately, could not get that pit player dealt with, right? And that bought time for Surreal to come round. As mentioned, lack of utility, therefore an oversight somewhere, and it ended up being the Moto Smoke, which is just so paramount to a T-side A take. Timeout to come round here.
I'm a little
From
bit
that T-side
perplexed,
as
you know,
well.
if you don't have the nades, why wrap? You know, why expose yourself to Arch and Library and... I don't know, man. A little bit perplexing. They also had a window, actually, Eternal Fire, to go through that smoke and kill Surreal. They could have tried it. I don't think that had HE, but even so, for my money, going through a smoke on CS2 is a lot more doable than it was in Go. So maybe a little bit indecision. And we've had a streaky half so far. 5 and then 4. Could be 5 apiece. This one's just a half buy. But we just like a little bit of life out of Eternal Fire again. We know they've got punchy individuals that can do a thing or two even on a lesser buy. And now would be a great time.
Well, we'll see. A couple Mac 10s in the mix can always be difficult to deal with. Switcher chilling out. Oh my goodness, we are very quickly into 4 on A, to be honest with you. They are very, very ready for this A hit, so it really will be a challenge for Eternal Fire to make it out. A couple of nice nades in towards Pit, however, they're unable to ultimately isolate that Pit player. That's what they were looking for. Didn't really matter. The rest of the supporting cast was where the problems were at. 5-5, quick even up here by Endpoint. Back to their winning ways, a trade of streaks. And now a question of who is going to take the lead, or will we get an even finish? Who rightly knows?
It's a decent round haul, I guess, already for Eternal Fire. It's just the statement that's being sent if they can't get much more out of this half. I think pretty dominant. The money is racked up unbelievably for Endpoint. They'll be buying whatever happens in the following. Last round of the half, and check this aggression out. Good spawn for Swisher. He's going to get aggressive. Orpa Slend peeks wide. Oh my lord, this is a disaster. Flash comes from all the way on Banana. That's from Max. And that strategy has worked as intended, and then some. Dominance.
Absolutely beautiful round for sure. Endpoint, yeah, they seem to have figured it out a bit again. Taking them some time to get into the game here. But once they've found the wave, found the groove, they've been absolutely unstoppable. So it may well be set to continue. Eternal Fire back in with, well, it's a serviceable buy, isn't it? But it is the last round. You have to kind of go for it.
Wow.
Not many options. Slend with the first out in towards second middle there from the apartment's mid-room. Really great opening frag once again. Yeah. And they seem to have kind of figured it out.
Yeah.
Take the fight to the enemy. They just can't deal with this quick, individually based aggression.
Well, you remember the way Mirage started, the amount of mid-aggression playing into underpass. I don't want to call it disrespect. It's more like, is imposing yourself a better way to put it? It's like acknowledging that if we play aggressive, we're playing together, we're good players. We can disrupt their defaults, we can make them uncomfortable. We can find holes in the way Eternal Fire is playing that wouldn't be exploited if we let them default into map control and do an execute. And these last few rounds have been so much more aggressive, and fundamentally there's been no response. And this round is following that trend too, isn't it? 2v4. Unless there's some nades on the ground, there's one flashbang, but I feel like we really need some smoke. Slend is on the angle and might feast as these two peek. First misses, but Surreal's got nades. Flash is landing all over the shop. Difficult duel for M-Star. Colors does trade. So much more work to do. That is a good kill. Should get the plant down here towards oranges. Awkward exchange. And too much to do. 7 in a row for Endpoint. What a change this half took.
Yeah, absolutely wild stuff. To be fair, a great start from Eternal Fire Academy, just couldn't quite keep it up, and it does go to show that I think a lot of their ability, a lot of their potential is very surface level, in all fairness, and the depth is lacking. But maybe a swap of sides.
A swip.
A swip.
Maybe.
I wanted to say a swap in sides, and it sort of came together.
Maybe
So-
that's what it means in Turkish.
Potentially.
We'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
It's probably what it means in my own little language that my head's got going on at this stage. But yes,
There you
when they change over, I'm expecting different things here from Eternal Fire Academy.
go. They need it. And look at this. 4-man mid push. Let's go. All the way down. Skolan can't win his duel. M-Star's also down. And, well, it was bold. It was aggressive. It was ambitious. But it didn't work.
Endpoint kicking off very well then. I think this is a really scary prospect of signs to come. The thing as well with this T side, of course, that we talk about quite a bit. You can control the engagements, where the fights go down, how you want to play it. And Inferno, look, it's a map that a lot of teams play, but there is an awful lot of nuance that will split a kind of tier 3, tier 4 team like Eternal Fire Academy and a solid 1.5 tier 2 team that Endpoint are. I think they will be able to bring some of that high-level nuance. Maybe not even go super deep into it. Just a couple of really clean rifle rounds. Work the rotations, annoy the rotations, and end up on a bomb site that is lesser defended, especially if they're able to find like an early opener via banana or brackets. It will make a massive difference. Technical timeout coming in here. Hopefully a brief one, but we will indeed see. Yeah, I mean, filling the arena, baby. I think we could certainly call it an arena with how it looks. Some great crowd shots here. Not to the brim, but pretty damn good. Pretty damn good, I would say. You know, a lot of home crowd support here for Eternal Fire Academy.
Of course, good to have a local representative in the final. That makes it all the better. It hasn't been necessarily, you know, the most exciting final if you're a Turkish fan, let's say. But hopefully, it's a best of 5. There's more to be played. Hopefully we can give them something. Endpoint, loving life, Azu there. Clearly happy about something. There's the trophy. Gleaming. Green. Monster vibes. And the fans giving us a wave.
Oh, there we go. Oh, he didn't know where the camera was. That guy. I think it may well have been in Turkish. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'll tell you what. The host guy earlier, the number of different camera angles they were throwing at him, and he was still managing to always face the camera. That was quite incredible. I don't know if... so for the viewers at home, when you're on camera, sometimes they have a little red light that pings up on the camera that is live to stream or whatever. If you don't have that, then it's a real nightmare of knowing which ones are actually pointing at you.
Depends. Depends on the sort of type of camera they've got, on how obvious or even if it has one. And then also the second thing is if you've got about 25 lights on you at one point, you know, looking out into the darkness is a little harder than you might think. So it certainly does depend. You also, I think, you know, if it gets to super high level and you've got loads of people, there's usually just a guy that's like camera 2, camera 4. You know, when you're swapping across, they'll give you a little indication in your ear as to which camera you will be currently on or on next or whatever it may be for your very well-rehearsed shows. But sometimes in the old esports space, we don't quite have that amount of time to get that level of rehearsal going, and different studios all around the world have obviously different setups. So, moving into a key round here. All right, Slend may well have just won it with that one frag, to be honest with you. He will take the lone B defender. And, yeah, it looks like this round might just be over, to be honest. There's not really an awful lot that Eternal Fire Academy can get done. M-Star with the break of the smoke. Trying to find something. Nothing occurring. So I think he will indeed just move to save with the rest of the squad.
Yeah, just get out of dodge. It stings, but, you know, you're better off saving here and giving it another stab. In the following. That is 9 on the trot now for Endpoint. It's getting a little bit fearsome. And, of course, MR12. There's not many rounds to go before we're on to map 3. At least we're seeing more life here from Eternal Fire. It's just a shame that in the last, 7, 8, 9 rounds, hasn't been quite as competitive. Hopefully once the guns come out, there's a bit of a different story. For this one, though, only what they've saved, and certainly low nades here, so gonna need some serious work on these MP9s, I think, to make a dent.
There it is. Everyone getting the screens up, of course. I haven't been to too many esports events in the crowd recently, so I'm always curious as to like what app they use or if there's a way of doing it. I don't really know.
It's called like Scroller or something.
Right. Okay.
I do have it on my phone, and I don't remember why I have it because I've certainly never produced it at an esports event.
Yeah. Well, you never know when you might need it, bro. In a crowd.
Maybe I was sat in the crowd. I seem to recall I had like an insult about Blair on there and I sat in the crowd trying to be on camera. Something like this. Something like this. I can't remember. Either way. Got one guy with a bit of util here, so a couple smokes. Ah. That doesn't help. Can't use the smokes if your head is exploding like a watermelon being dropped off a skyscraper. Unlucky.
M-start. Or could find something here on the edge of the smoke. Would have been lovely to get a double kill, but not going to happen for him. Down goes the flanking presence. Surreal holding behind pretty intently here. Spots out another. But ultimately just keeping them at bay, buying time, and yeah, if he can net the frags, even better. Jota all alone. Not looking good at all. Oh, there you go. Get that AK. To be fair. Oh, yep. Lovely. There you go.
Some sort of result. One of them did buy in pretty hard, so maybe you do with that drop. See, we're trying to hunt it. But I do not think Mr. Jota here will be found in time. Maybe he doesn't peek. Oh my lord. Well, at least they have money here anyway, I guess. But perhaps that might summarize the game as of late. Some awkward jumps there as we get into apartments. But the guns are out, Scriv, and, you know, let's stay positive. What have you got, Eternal Fire Academy? We know you got some punchy individuals. Have you got some aggression, some banana takes? We saw yesterday some very punchy calls, stacking sites. Give us something. Give us something.
Yeah, I mean,
he's locked his screen.
They've got to be. You've got to be faster. You know, you've got to be more prepped.
Or just hold it up the whole time. Just have it there.
Right. And maybe the camera will specifically target you. You know what I mean?
I will say, you only gonna have the camera on you between rounds.
Yep.
You kind of know when it's coming.
Yep. This is true. You know,
So,
just to reduce the arm fatigue.
Step it up.
Indeed. They clearly are a novice esports crowd
Yes.
at the moment. But that's fair enough. That's fair enough. We need more events in Turkey. That's obviously what the conclusion is to draw from that situation.
Either that or have me there in person to berate the fans during the between the maps and make sure they know.
That too. Yeah.
I'll walk around with my Turkish translator explaining to them. This is how the cameras work. Be ready for it. Here's the runner show. Here's what you're saying on your phone. Okay, live in 3, 2, go.
yeah.
Have the earpiece in them and everything.
Yeah.
We promise it's not staged.
All right. Endpoint looking to end things here and now. If they're able to find this round, I do feel that the map, at the very least, starts to indeed look like theirs. Cyber going to open up towards Banana. Yeah, indeed, a big frag. They were really set on rushing in towards that B angle, but finding one back on A changes their minds. Low ammo for Colours. It does make a difference. He would have netted that frag. Otherwise, must be like 1 HP for Surreal. He's eventually traded out by a rotator from middle. 3 versus 3. Bomb going to go down, but Pinson in here. Not a lot of room to really expand the post plant. So going to be very predictable in terms of the positions for Eternal Fire Academy. Looking very good indeed. Molotov in towards the pit area. Leaving just 2 now for Endpoint. What can they get done? Azuru in on the site. Oh my goodness. Doesn't go down. And Switcher's crossfire is super, super strong. Endpoint will hold and find themselves 11.
Just playing with class. The crossfires are good. They knew Scotland was low in pit. That's why they targeted such an area. And in that 2-on-2 in the end. Well played in the crossfire. Azui's off to a banging series, 15-6 in this game. If I recall correctly, he was pretty far up the scoreboard too on Mirage. So he's doing just fine. And what's up with this Eternal Fire buy? It looks like a few of the guys have gone all in. Somebody hasn't. Not really looking all on the same page here. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah, kind of interesting. Sounds interesting, especially with the way the economy is now. You got these refunds and everything, right? But we'll see. First kill does come in. Second one going to land. Low HP. MP9 picks up another. This is wild. Switch is the first one to find a kill for Endpoint, but I don't really think it's going to make a difference at all. There's really no HP bars for these remaining two. Now just one. So a great little response here from Eternal Fire Academy, and maybe that's part of the puzzle, is that it's an unexpected buy. Endpoint caught off guard by it.
Yeah, I think there's a catchphrase with caution and wind that might explain that round. Very aggressive. I imagine some choice words from Max after the player in a man advantage pushed through the bottom of the smoke. You're going to see it again. 5 on 3, pushing the bottom banana smoke. That is not rulebook Counter-Strike, but no, nevertheless, it's entertainment. And now that I'm not coaching, at least, that is my priority.
Yes, very true.
Maybe when I'm coaching, playing entertaining Counter-Strike isn't my priority.
Yeah, it is possible.
Maybe that's where I went wrong.
Colors. Clean frag.
The bomb.
Oh,
Now we're going back for
yeah,
it.
wait. This could get a bit weird. Skolan. Yep, might just get the drop. However, lovely little smoke there, actually, from Surreal to just kind of keep him at bay. And he catches Skolan as well, creeping through. Very aware of the situation. Cyber alone. Whoa, 11 HP. A little bit wacky. And the nade will take him down, unable to really stand strong. 12-6 comes through. Looking very good indeed here for Endpoint. 6 rounds to play with.
And a reminder for the viewers that have joined us more recently, it was a 5-0 start for Eternal Fire Academy. It's been 12-1 since then. Granted, some close rounds, some tricky situations, but I mean, that paints a stark picture the way this has swung since then. Endpoint, 6 chances to go up 2-0. And then there are 3 different maps where they can win this series, win the tournament, claim the trophy. For the Intel Monsters Reloaded. And they just love to get this map done and dusted. This round alone would be a perfect one to get in the bag.
Footsteps in towards A here. Skolan lands the dink, but takes one of his own. Color's going to go unchecked. Only able to net 1 off the back of it, though. He was hoping for way more than that, right? Hoping that they would just come flying around the corner, but not to be the case. Runs out of ammo, burns eventually. Damn, that could have been huge for Colors. His position was fantastic, but unable to capitalize. Slen with the quick trade. That will finish it off. 13-2-6. Endpoint. Took them a long time to get going, to be fair. 5 in a row netted by Eternal Fire Academy. But as you can see, they only picked up 6 in the end. So, yes, it was a very, very, very long run from the Endpoint boys to get that one over the line. Once they hit the mark, once they regained their mojo, I guess, it was really, really impressive. Absolutely unstoppable, particularly in that second half.
Yeah, it's been a banging series from them, as said. Maybe if some of those first few gun rounds, particularly looking at the B setup, might have been some problems. I think probably Surreal was playing apps when Heavy God is on in the server, and he probably swapped into playing B with Max in the absence of Heavy God. So maybe that's a factor, just saying that perhaps that's why B was a bit suspect. But overall, what's not to love? Slender Zuru off to brilliant series so far. Can't complain. They're on an absolute tear. And I think on the Eternal Fire Academy side, not surprised to see some discussions because, I don't know, they just look a little bit deflated, don't they? And it's hardly a surprise given how these maps have gone, but I don't know. I mean, I think somebody from above just needs to step in and say, you know, you were never a favourite to win this final. You're playing a professional level team. We're just an academy setup. This is an experience. Enjoy it. Learn from it. And I hope they come with that approach to the rest of the series because I'd hate for them just to feel down and out already.
Yeah, I mean, that may well have been the message sort of sent already. There's obviously a clear kind of attitude change in things, right? And that really did help them in the early stages of that second map, but it just didn't really keep up. And they don't have the resources available as a team. And I mean just as a team, not necessarily like an organization or anything like that, but as a core unit, they don't have the resources available to kind of dig deep into the strat book and be like, okay, we've got this set round that guarantees the bomb plant most of the time. Let's go for that on the half buy, etc., etc. I think some of these things are going to be lacking because they are still just trying to figure out how to function at this kind of level, how to play as a unit, communication in a stage environment, etc., etc. These are all things that are very difficult to train. And then, yeah, as you're saying, LAN experience, see it as that. Because if you do get moved up into a higher team and indeed end up in more LANs, these are the things that you really just cannot practice, right? When it's like how to feel in this moment, how to communicate in this moment, how to stay cool with all the rumblings and shakings of all the noise that's being made around you, etc., etc. So it can be really, really, really tough. Any sort of closing thoughts on that map before we hit the break?
Yeah, I think we just like to see more from Eternal Fire Academy. Obviously, that map started in great fashion for them. We got to see some good rounds, some good individual plays. We just want a little bit more because we know from what we saw yesterday that some of these individuals are good individual players. So that's our only hope. Endpoint up 2-0. Up next will be Overpass. We're going to take a quick break, and when we're back, we'll see if Endpoint can indeed clean sweep the series. We'll see you then.
Heroes. They're made of actions. They know how to win. They're out of this world. You know them. Be one today. Get serious. Be the story to be told. All you need is dedication, perfection, precision, a winning attitude. Become one with your duo and embrace the monster in you. Tulpar, for serious. Heroes.
Ooh, and we are back. Map 3 to come. Endpoint, safe to say, pretty dominant so far. Mirage goes their way 13-1. Inferno, a little bit more competitive at the start, but ultimately a pretty hefty streak of rounds. -1 at the end for Endpoint, 13-6 overall. But it's time for Overpass. Let's get into this. Hopefully a more competitive affair, because we just want to see a little bit more from the Turkish squad, don't we?
Yes, indeed. I mean, we have seen little flashes of brilliance. And this might be another one of them. Oh, the flash is great, but unfortunately, immediately demolished there, Slend. They're quite ready as they can be now that they've only got 2 players left on the Endpoint side of things. Just not enough bodies is there to really stop them. Oh, getting into the site, Surreal. Probably just going to save. Yeah, takes a goosh there, so it's no damage to the Kevlar itself, but not going to win that round, is he? So, going to give it up. Eternal Fire Academy. Pistol's looking good. There is that.
Nice.
Yeah, really, really solid stuff. Again, I would imagine that is something, as we mentioned, that gets talked about in the interim, in the break in between maps. Get your pistol down pat, and it can spur you forwards, of course. Oh, Surreal's probably a goner here, unless he can find one of these kills. He cannot, so indeed, flawless in terms of the frags from Eternal Fire Academy. Right, let's see what Endpoint have got in the back pocket. Going to go for the Force Buy again. Kind of buying into this a bit more, because the nature of the tournament, the nature of how these games are going to be played out in the conventional Tier 2 European. Everybody's saving this second round at the moment, unless you get the bomb plant on the T side. So, little bit more unorthodox in that sense, but they're confident in themselves, and in particular their ability to land the headshots, I think, is what is the logic here.
Heavy Aileen from the Turkish squad. Long being snapped up. Slend sticking around this divider toilets area. Get a find. Poke around the top of the smoke. Can't see anybody. In towards balloons. And there's a lot of bodies in the vicinity. All 5 of Eternal Fire in touching distance that are free here for Endpoint, but they need to win some of these opening duels for sure. Max to be called upon. Gets the kill in the end. Make it 2. That is beautiful. Doing so much work. Information for his teammates. Does lose Surreal. There's a flank on at the same time. This is very dicey stuff.
It is that question of whether it is enough for them to work with. Surely you feel Eternal Fire Academy.
Down.
Oh, I've still got the drop. Yeah, that is the plant cancelled. Oh, God, and it's become a mess now, hasn't it? Panic ensues. Deagle damage. 5-7 to finish it off, and Endpoint. You can see why they went for the Force Buy. Confident in their setup. It pays absolute dividends as Zuru is, for me, the hero of that round. Sure, Max gets the ball rolling, but he finds the most integral frag.
Hero of the series. Been an absolute monster so far. 32-13. Slend's not far behind at 30-14. And off to a cracking round there. That bomb must have been so close to getting planted. But no cigar. And as we know, the moment you get reset on these second rounds, you're buying back in reverse. You've only got 1,400 lost, but your buy isn't good. That kill, though, could change the course of this round. They does the job in terms of ensuring a trade. What rifle was dropped? Is it a M4 or AK up there in balloons? It's an M4. They need to scoop that up. Did they not see it? I'm a little bit lost.
Yeah, a little bit weird. Just unsure, I think. Really scared of the fights that are coming their way. It's only Yota who's going to find success here. So, one would assume that that is going to be that. Bomb, of course, in the hands of the CT side is the big thing. He's not able to get anything else. So, well held, well played, Endpoint. moving up to a second round. Should be an eco out here from the T side. And a difficult spot that they find themselves in early, you know. On the back foot, definitely not where they wanted to be.
No, sir. Okay. Well, this one is pretty much a full eco. A couple Deagles brought up, and actually, they don't have that much loss bonus, so they need to be a bit careful here. A bomb plant would do a lot of work. Ensuring, you know, AKs and cool nades out in the next. But a chance really for Endpoint to fully stabilize the money. And yeah, the more rounds we see here, I mean, since that streak aside on, of course, the first half of Inferno, I don't know, man. There's a long way to go here, of course, but if Eternal Fire can't get their teeth into this game soon, I'm going to start to panic for them.
Yeah, I think certainly it is a risk. It is a risk at this point if they can't get this first rifle on the board. And you can see, we talk about it an awful lot. The money is really not fantastic because of the reset. Even with the eco and whatnot. Yeah, they get the AKs out, but they lack in the utility. So we're going to have to pick a bomb site and dedicate to it. That's probably what I would go for early in the game. Keep it simple. Get your guns working for you. Let the AK do the work.
I guess the good news is there's no AWP on Slend. Because if you went into an AWP, you just don't have the flashes really to deal with it. Check out the aggressive mid. I kind of like it. Max is out in the open. Needs to retreat. Just about gets around the corner. He's got a teammate in towards Connector. As look at Endpoint. They've also taken B short water control. Flash over the top for Surreal to fight. Can't see anybody. Pushing now through the short pipe on B. Scotland seemed to have no idea. Maybe there was a smoke there that faded. And look at the map control for Endpoint. They've got everything minus, you know, mid and A.
Surreal with a big kill. That might just start to solidify this round, to be fair. Just 3 remaining now for Eternal Fire Academy. A little trapped in the connector area. No real options. Making a lot of noise. Headed towards A as well. Mighty Max will be holding from Divider as the smoke comes in. Spots a barrel. Easy frag. Not ready for more presence there, but all the same. Should be enough. If only Cyber had found that kill a bit earlier, we might be on. 3 versus 1, however. Position known. Looks a little less likely. Checking all his angles, just hungry for a frag here. Quick one onto Surreal. Savvy of a flank, but only got 20 seconds to work with, right? It's not a lot of time. Azuru saves the day, catches him turning in towards the A bomb site. 4-1, 4 in a row. Solid stuff here. Pause for the T side.
I think lack of util there was a factor. If they had all the nades to clear out into connector, they could have, you know, ensured the control of that area of the map, had more space to work with, but didn't really have the staying power, did they? Another eco to follow, no bomb plant. And, you know, the modus operandi for Endpoint in terms of... It's not necessarily being aggressive, it's more like, we're going to take space, we're going to make it difficult for you to default, we're going to get up in your face a little bit. That clearly worked well on Mirage. We saw it towards the end of that first half, towards the end of Inferno. And they're continuing that here, and there's no reason not to.
Decent utility here for Eternal Fire Academy. And they're rushing into short. They know what's up. Quick 1-for-1 trade is certainly a decent result there. Can they overwhelm the B bomb site, however, is a different question. Everybody is so blind. Cyber does get another, but couldn't make it in. And that kind of just goes to show, you know, right idea, but dealing with it in practice and against a higher level team is just really hard to replicate in your scrims, isn't it? The coordination a little bit missing there, but potentially because Endpoint were ready. They actually had 4 on B quite quickly. And the utility that came back in from them was just so good.
Yeah, they would have known the money, so I think that is a total read saying the biggest risk here is pistol armor, monster fast, or what actually happened was a short pop, but same idea. Get the numbers over. Okay, guns are out. Cyber catches Azuwu in towards B short. It's going to keep poking up. Nades finish the job. But even with that trade, this feels like a better position. That CT side is forced to extend their lines a little bit. More gaps in between them. Slend now is stuck aggressively in towards the cube area. There's a player in playground. He could be a dead man. I don't think he has any idea what on earth is going on over there. Okay, Johnny gets the kill in the end. Reaction is B aggression, but is traded. So 3 on 2. This is looking a lot better.
Slow encroachment towards the B side. It's where Endpoint have put their resources, banking on a B hit. So certainly could make this work. Will they begin to doubt themselves on the CT side? I don't know that they will have enough time to necessarily do so. Passive hold from them. Willing to give up the bomb site. 2 nades available, so I would bet they're going to try and deny this bomb plan. Oh, it's so close, man. Unable to do it. Damage is still pretty good. He goes swinging out to his death. They now know where Surreal is at. 2 to find. So many smokes for him to work around. What's he going to opt to do? Go above 1 and try and pick a player off. Unfortunately, Jota is knowledgeable of this fact, and he just cannot find anybody there. Surreal eventually taken down by Skolan, so a big rifle win for Eternal Fire. They bring it up to 2. Give us a few more of those and we start to believe.
That's more like it. That's what we wanted. Take this out. Fast infrastructure control. Azuru called out. Aggressive from there. Looking for the trades. And, yeah. A much more promising round from Eternal Fire. More of that, please. What have we got this time? 4A default. Maybe aggressive mid again. Slend is a little bit out in the open. M-Star's near. Flash is good. Slend lucky to be alive and not for long. Max does get the trade. And fortunately enough for him, there's nobody playing in connectors, so there's a lot of space to move around. B aggression comes out at the same time. Another trade. Tit for tat here. 3 on 3.
Ah, that was a big opportunity for a frag. That obviously makes all the difference here. Nobody around to really get the trade on him. Well-timed Molotov here from Surreal. Will keep that long presence at bay, but yeah, the Eternal Fire Academy boys, I think they got to group up and try and brute force a bomb site. Playing in solo is what's just lost you the man advantage, so you really do have to be careful with these next few steps. They will look towards A. It's not the most confident A move. Flash coming in from Cyber here for Colors to work with. Unable to capitalize. Drops the bomb is the big thing. And down goes his partner as well. Eternal Fire Academy, unfortunately, back to square 1 after that round. Can't find the consistency here on any of these maps.
Yeah, you're right. Sort of lacking the staying power, aren't they? Endpoint lose a round. They're playing quite aggressive. They lost the opening picks, and they rein it in a lot more here. Okay. Well, it is a buy from Eternal Fire Academy, but it's not easy on the eyes. Yes, there's some AKs, but util again is lacking. This is a problem early in the half, so got to find to mitigate it this time. Slend chooses to go rifle only. I think they could have got an AWP out. And they're going to leave. That's Max. Aggressive in towards the cube. Load up B with 4. If Max is dropped, red carpet out for A. There's nobody else around.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. Could get a bit weird out here. Max's presence going to be known as well with that smoke, but they actually pull away, and now they're walking into the Lion's Den with this one, to be honest. Switcher looking good. Can't quite get the double there, but it is Surreal, who's not expected on the site itself. So well defended is this B-bomb site by Surreal. He continues to look impressive as the anchor. Brilliant stuff and having a great map so far.
Frog's got some aggressive fist bumps. That was violent. Kind of like it.
When you're
Big
in that
hold from the
coaching
K-man.
position, though, it's kind of what you want, isn't it? You know, like, you want a game that you're expected to win, but there's going to be some tests, and you see how your boys perform under those tests. And I think that is what that round looks like to me. It's a very quick
No.
burst
What you
out
want
towards
is-
short.
You want a dominant performance, but every time you lose a round, you pause, and then after that, you win it. Start winning again. It looks like all your work. That is the ideal.
Okay, right.
That's the ideal.
Is it?
This was years ago. I was once coaching for the UKers, a Newell final. We were playing Bath. We were Warwick. For those that don't know, they're the top, collegiate league in the UK. We're playing a LAN final. We were playing Cash. I think we lost the first 6 rounds or something. I took a pause, said some very simple stuff. It was essentially to the tune of, guys, when we're up 5-on-4, make a call instead of standing round the whole round. And then we won 15 rounds in a row, and I look like a genius. Those are the days.
And the rest is history.
Those are the days.
Yeah. That's when Alan knew he was
Yeah, I don't know
destined
anything
for
anymore.
esports.
It's all just nebulous rubbish these days. It's all just a mess.
It's a different world when you get to this kind of level, for sure. Right. Eternal Fire Academy, even up here in the 5-on-5. Oh my goodness, 3 kills in the same matter of seconds. Azuu not falling. Looks so damn crisp with his 4K there. They were on the half-buy, but so well held. This B-bomb site looks pretty impenetrable right now. And once again, we are seeing the kind of endpoint effect. Once they are comfortable, they really are difficult to get over, ultimately. Really, really solid. You can see everybody surviving kind of thing, right, in a lot of these recent rounds. No real contest. No bomb plants. Eternal Fire really are struggling here on Overpass. So, once again, that 3-0 prediction looking pretty good, but yeah, we wanted to see a bit more competition from Eternal Fire Academy. Ultimately, without pistols here, I'd say, we've maybe had 4 or 5 solid rifle rounds from them, so it is lacking somewhat.
They've got B. B's been left open, endpoint leaning so many players A. B had to be exposed. Bomb is zooming in from Connector. Bit of a molly from Max, maybe to try and slow down a plant. Here comes a boost. Oh, head spotted. Oh, it's awkward. No kill found. But some of these guys are so low on the Eternal Fire side. And what we're about to see is, well, a B execute from the CT side. All their util doesn't work. 2 for Scotland. And this is not going to be a retake for endpoint. Surreal just needs to give this up, save the AK. There you go. Back on the board.
Well, that's it. That's what we like to see as soon as we call them out. Eternal Fire Academy will pick things back up. Surreal taking a few
He is
names,
crisp
however.
right now.
He really
so
is on
crisp
it,
right
yeah.
now.
He's going to get another one here. No, he will eventually go down. But still, that's some pretty good damage done. You can see as the money comes in from the victory, you might just have caught it there. Okay, we're back in. The quickest crowd shot you've ever seen. There is only a couple of players who can get a comfortable buy here, I think. Really lacking in the utility, or maybe even an AK there as well for colours. It's not great. It's not great. The hunt was a bit too deep.
Slender really on only 4 kills. Okay, I mean, there's players joining and leaving. No, I think that's correct. He just hasn't seen anybody the whole game. 4 and 6.
Yeah.
Just, Azuru's killing everybody. I'm good. I can take a back seat. Azuru for the series, by the way, is currently at, let me do the sums, 48 to 19. That's not a bad day in the office. And there hasn't been that many rounds, given the dominance so far. He's having a good day. A very good day. I tell you what, Eternal Fire have brought the money down for endpoint very low. So there is a chance here to force a very weak buyout. Actually, this is the last of the half, isn't it? MR12. Still adjusting, man.
Yeah,
Still
the autopilot's still there. The autopilot is still there.
God damn it.
It's workable, though. Definitely not the worst kind of rifle buy that we've seen them have throughout the course of this series. It's a question of if they can make it competitive. Maybe with bare bones instincts taking over here for Eternal Fire Academy, they could definitely take this. Slend, whoa, watch yourself, buddy. There's a few players around this corner. I don't think he's really expecting them at all. Playing with fire and eventually gets burned a little too hot. He will go down quite early. He's been gagging for some fights. As soon as he gets one, he's left out by the wayside. Rotation is in from Surreal here. This is the danger man right now. Been playing so very well. Still got to deal with him. Still buying time for teammates to come and join. They're all through from the CT angle, looking for the fights. And the key thing, yes, is that the bomb is absolutely miles away from this action. They're not finding the kills anyway. So in a weird way, it kind of helps them because he might be able to get the bomb down on B, find the neutral game. However, he's taking a bit too long to get around. They smelled a rat. They were down there ready for him. 9-3 at the turn of the half. Very solid stuff from Endpoint once again. And Eternal Fire Academy, it's getting scary, isn't it? The reality of the 3-0 defeat is starting to set in.
I'm guessing the bomb was there the whole round, and then they started taking A, and Scotland ran back to get it. I don't think it would have changed the course of the round, but that is, as Henry would say, a bit of a blunder. Right. Endpoint. 2-0 up. 3, of course, required. Map wins, that is, to win the series. Is Eternal Fire going to lose this in a landslide, or is there some Counter-Strike left to be played? Got to start here. Got to win this pistol. And this is the worst possible start.
Indeed it is. The A-bomb site incredibly vulnerable now. Rotations will come around, but they're quite late. Smokes to keep them at bay. They only really have one option in the form of Bank. Scotland spotted a couple players out here, unable to find the heads. In fact, takes one to his own noggin. It's very rough indeed. Flash round to try and get them out. Down goes Scotland. Just 2 now remaining. Surreal is on for a big round here. Not going to be able to get that nasty 4K, as would continue to sum up his game, but all the same, a flawless pistol round from Endpoint, looking to close things out swiftly.
Free to go. When was the last time Endpoint won a tournament? Because, remember, Scriv, they didn't win ESL Prem this year.
No, this is true. Which is usually a
I
notch
doubt they've won any
that they have on the
any
belt.
of the tier 2 events. I'm willing to wager to be their first title of the year.
We've had a number of second places from them this year, which is a little unfortunate. Just having a scroll down here. I think you are indeed correct. Big money being made in this round, of course, though. Mac 10 in particular is farming. Just M-Start. What can he get done? We'd love to see a Deagle Heady if he can get it.
I'm sure they've got a nice trophy cabinet in Sheffield. If they don't, I'm sure they're building one right now. Flat pack. Getting that one together. Maybe they could chip out the green spotlights as well to illuminate it in true Monsters Reloaded fashion with all the green. Okay, well, Eternal Fire, they echoed the previous. The plan was always to get rifles out here. They're 2 rounds away from losing the grand final. There's no other way to put it. It is now or never.
All right, let's see. They have plenty of rifleage to work with. Utility's not great, but, you know, it's a buy that you should be able to convert. You have to come up with something a bit unorthodox, a bit proactive. 4 on B would certainly be the move. And it does appear to be a pretty quick B hit from Endpoint. There you go. Yota going to open things up. Decent nade damage onto some of the CTs, but nobody really in position to capitalize from Endpoint.
Ooh. Those were close. I think Endpoint, I'm not sure it was an execute. I think it was more so trying to run a small little play to get Azu into a good fight. Something explosive. Didn't work. And the boost here on the sandbags. Had too late to play it in connector. A bit awkward. Shots exchanged. As Endpoint loop back up for some A control. There's no AWP in play here for the CD side, so it's a lot easier to scale up A. Move up from toilets, come up banana, play together. And we're indeed rerouting. Some nades starting to fly their way over. And is that smoke missed? I think so.
Certainly possible. Max is going to find the first tier into the round. Mr. M-Star trying to escape does just that, but takes a lot of damage for his trouble. Obviously going to have to concede the bomb plant here. They do have themselves in a pretty good retake position on the Eternal Fire side. Slen trying to get some catches towards short. Does not happen for him. Max with some decent damage here. Finds one. Switcher traded out quickly. It's just going to be down to Max onto the Glock. Trying to find the catch. Can't get it done. Overwhelmed from behind. And Eternal Fire will hold on a little longer.
Okay. That was better. Very chaotic, though. As Endpoint were rounding themselves up onto the site. I'm pretty sure Max meant to throw a stairs smoke. Jump throw bind problem? I'm not sure. That didn't look right. Maybe he left and right clicked it. I'm not sure. Either way, didn't really help proceedings. But good defense. And yeah, groundwork laid for Eternal Fire. Of course, more work to do. Let's see how they're going to open up this round. Last one was a 4B start. This time, 3 on A. It's Endpoint are going for a B-heavy lean to kick off this round. If they spot this long aggression, they're definitely going to accelerate. And for now, there's only 2 in defense on B. This timing could be perfect as players stream out of short. Max just about stays alive. Colors is trapped in towards barrels. Max finds both kills. Another for Surreal. This could be the death blow. 2 players left. And do you save or do you go, Script? Because if you're saving, 8 championship points you're handing over.
It is a very tough call indeed. M-Star is close to the action, so maybe looking to find an opening frag. Nothing coming his way, nobody pushing into him, so indeed he will just have to save. There's unfortunately that element of futility, the fact that it is just kind of useless to go for this. You have to give that respect across to a team like Endpoint that you aren't going to win this round. If they'd found a quick opener, if maybe they'd even found 2, they really would have gone for it, but that's obviously not the way that this pans out. So Endpoint will take it. 12-4, as you've said, 8 in a row now required from Eternal Fire Academy to keep us alive. You know, that's not even to win the map out. That is to nail an overtime. And I mean, 8 in a row in this series is a real tough ask of this squad. They've found sporadic rounds here or there. They managed 5 on Inferno with the help of the pistol. But then they only ended up with 6 rounds at the end of Inferno. So they really have struggled to string rounds together and to find a working formula.
It's been brilliant today from Endpoint. For those that missed the opening series yesterday, we were asking a lot of questions, particularly on map 1, about what sort of Endpoint had showed up. Are they in championship winning form? These mistakes looked unorthodox, and they've just spooled up and up and up. The team playing in this final is a different beast from what was in the games yesterday. They might be losing numbers here. But all in all, I'm still feeling good about Endpoint. They look set for me to get this over the line.
Slow encroachment on towards A. Eternal Fire Academy relatively ready. They are split. If we can get some one and dones here, that would be great. Scout just staying alive in towards Bank, not really getting involved in the fight, to be fair. So a solid 3 versus 2 retake here, definitely on the cards, but, you know, it is that weaponry that lets them down a bit. Decent utility. Get long smoked off, you know, somewhere like this, just to get rid of some angles. It would be brilliant in this particular situation as well, but Switcher comes out early, nearly in for the triple spray down there. If he had a few more bullets, a bit more HP, he might have been able to pull that one off. Mighty Max to finish it here and now. It will be a hold on to the bomb, but he peeks out. Nerves of Steel and finishes it off 13-4, 3-0 in favor of Endpoint. Not messing around here. They will pick up the victory. They will win out in first place. And of course, the Intel Monsters Reloaded Championship goes their way. The lion's share of 20k. Absolutely fantastic. A beautiful trophy to go alongside it as well. And a brilliant, brilliant final display from them.
Absolutely. It had to be Max to end it as well. The captain, of course. And, you know, a very dominant showing in the final. I think safe to say, you know, more of a seasoned outfit than their opponents. The class showed throughout this final, but for those of us that have watched both days of play, they looked much more composed today. They looked much more in the zone, I guess is the way to put it. They came here to win this grand final, and that was the only ambition. And, you know, a very disciplined game, very rarely hunting, you know, overplaying in advantageous situations. That was a very calm and calculated display, and I think credit actually probably to Frog more than anybody else. I guess he had a good talk yesterday after that semi-final saying, you know, we could make a big mistake here if we don't just clean this up. And that's exactly what they did today. That was perfect.
Yeah, there's certainly a position for this team coming into a tournament like this where there are a few lesser-known teams and indeed teams that you don't expect to have as high a ceiling as Endpoint, where you maybe feel a bit overconfident, even just sort of subconsciously, right? That it's like, okay, we can play our solid Counter-Strike, that should be enough. But no, actually, there's a couple of players in here. There's a couple of teams, one of them being Eternal Fire Academy with the way they performed yesterday, that you do indeed have to be on your toes against, I think, which is certainly a bit tougher to do coming into an environment like this and, you know, going from kind of practice room into the stage and all that, right? Getting the setup right. And maybe a bit of nerves for them as well coming into things. As we mentioned, last time they were out on stage and probably also felt they were in a winning position, everybody calling them the favourites, maybe even the teams they were playing against at Premiership Insomnia a few months ago. Also feeling that they were the favourite, they unfortunately lost out there. So I think Endpoint definitely have had to readjust to playing on the stage. But a point to prove, both to the people in this tournament, people out there as well that maybe have been doubting the way that this Endpoint looks and what they are capable of. And of course, a really solid message sent there in the final. Not even close to dropping a map, right? I was confident in a clean sweep, but in that kind of fashion, it surprises even the best of us.
Yeah, and I think it's worth saying that, you know, in the qualification stages, they played essentially a domestic gauntlet. They played X-Coalesce at the time. Now the team that's it's K10 is that team. My memory serves me correctly. I'm pretty sure it is the team that just won the UKIC finals. They beat Verdant in the final of the qualifier to make it here. So that's 2 of the top 4 domestic teams, including Endpoint. They had to beat on the way here, and as we mentioned, you know, they didn't win Premiership the most recent season. So clean up domestically, then go up to the international level. And outside of map 1 yesterday, a lot of good performances. So I think that was a lot of fun. Slend, Azuru, for me, both of them having phenomenal days. Azuru particularly had an absolute barnstormer of a final. So he should be happy about his individual level. And I think all in all, you know, as shaky as yesterday was at times, Endpoint did what they came here to do. Cleaned up shop. And soon we'll be lifting that trophy.
Yes, hopefully so. Obviously, a few stats here for you, but you can just kind of see a really, really solid kind of game. A best of 5 where there's only like 70 kills for the winning team is also a bit of a shock, but plus 30 for the entire squad is really, really clean. So it's
that
brilliant.
Can't be enough.
I think
70
yeah,
kills?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That might be from our first
Azuru was
2
on 50,
maps.
wasn't he?
Yeah, that might be from like the first couple of maps or something like that. And it's not been fully updated for the 3rd. But yeah, potentially, and it's not an individual player either. It's a bit too much.
Maybe it was
for
the
just
2
one
on
individual.
screen. I'm not sure.
Maybe. Who knows, dog? Listen, man, they won. They got a lot of kills.
Yeah.
They didn't die a lot. That much is for sure.
That's
Just
the
with the
asset I
way-
need. That's the
Yeah.
asset I need.
Yeah.
In nice simple terms. Tell me like I'm.
No,
fine
yeah,
about
I think
endpoint
you might be right. Looking at it, I'm not, but it said 74. None of these numbers add up to 74, Alan. So I don't know,
Who
mate.
knows? I think on site, you can just tell. I think the crowd, the casters, they look a bit deflated. I think, rightfully after yesterday's performances, we saw the ceiling, I guess, of Eternal Fire Academy. We wanted, even if they were going to lose this final, we wanted a bit more punch. Some exciting afterplant, some individual highlights. We didn't get so much of it, unfortunately. Just a little bit too much asked them, I think, in this grand final. But as we said throughout, it's a learning experience. These are young players. I doubt they've ever played a game of this caliber against a seasoned opposition like Endpoint before. Home crowd as well. Cameras are on you. This is a lot to deal with, Scriv, isn't it? If you've never been in that position before. So, we shouldn't have expected much more, I guess. But yeah, they'll be disappointed. But overall, as an academy system, in terms of teaching these players how to adjust to professional level play, they've done their job, and I'm sure they'll learn a lot from this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough as well because there's almost like no scale up in a way, if that makes sense. You're like, okay, we're an academy team, and then maybe we start to prove ourselves and play in some sort of tier 2 CCT type tournaments. Then we do like a local LAN against other domestic teams. We perform really well there. And then it's like, okay, we can play this sort of European semi-international LAN against the top team. And maybe then it's easier to scale, isn't it? But when you go from, as we say, like into the deep end, I think that's where it can also be very, very tough, is that you have very little to base it off of. And you really just don't know what to expect is the thing. You can't be like, okay, we played this other tournament. There was a favorite team in there. We thought we were going to match up against them. Oh, we got a bit wrecked. But we had a week or two to learn from that, took it into our next games, played some more officials. Now we're into this. Like there's no sort of build-up like that, whereas Endpoint obviously will have had a good degree of that build-up. That's what we talked about, actually, that they had been humbled a little in a domestic LAN, and it obviously made a big difference. They looked a hell of a lot better, much more comfortable in the LAN environment this time around, the stage environment. So it is hard for Eternal Fire Academy in that sense, that there is just a little bit lacking in terms of that stage experience, in terms of even that higher level European Counter-Strike experience. And there are certain things about the game and the competitive edge of the game that just can't be taught. You have to be in there. You have to learn it firsthand.
Yeah. I mean, I was once told by, it was Legia, told me this great quote. I can't quite repeat the version he said to me, but he essentially said, you need to eat a lot of, let's say, fecal matter before you start winning. You have to eat a lot of it before you learn how to win. You have to play for a lot of bad games and bad situations. And as we're saying, there is no substitute for being in these environments. So, Eternal Fire Academy, what more do you want? A thought I had earlier, actually, is the number of teams that hit visa issues, the number of teams that have one player ill, especially given the number of tournaments the main team plays. One of these guys might get a shot at a top-tier tournament if one of the main team players has an issue. So that's another reason to always be in top form if you're an academy player. And we've seen it across the board with other academy teams. You get it excelled up once. Think of, Pepsor, or other people with Fnatic, or players that went up to Big, or maybe Mouse as well have had a couple examples. Astralis as well with some of their players. You just need one big tournament and a big performance, and suddenly you're on people's lips. So it's always good to be in the crosshairs. We are just waiting to find out what's going on with the trophy winners ceremony. I would be stunned if there wasn't one, Scriv, given all the cameras, given what we saw earlier for what we thought was PUBG. So maybe there's a bit of setup.
True,
time.
they might be doing the same sort of thing, big checks for each team.
They're
May well
writing
be the
endpoint
case.
on it at the moment, is what you're saying.
Potentially, yeah, potentially.
We've got the scribe out the back.
Yeah, and
Getting that
getting
ready
all,
to go.
all the and also probably trying to find out where the 3rd and 4th place teams are at as well. Have they gone walkabouts? Are they taking pictures with fans? Potentially. So, yeah, just a bit of waiting, but I think we enjoy the coverage.
Yeah, we're back in
stage.
Eurovision mode.
Yeah,
Oh.
we've had a decently timed game there as well, so I don't think we're super drained, so definitely happy to stay on. I did have to put a coat on. It was a bit cold in the house, but that's not really anyone's fault on the broadcast, is it?
Well, Well, that would be a new stipulation in the contract. You will pay my heating fees whilst we are live. I'm putting in that my next one. That'd be a good idea. People in the arena seem to be people moving a little bit in and out, I guess. Maybe taking a bit of a break. Maybe someone going home, of course. No surprises, given the Turkish team is not victorious. And, what should we do, Scriv? I mean, we could break, but we lose the continuity to the trophy lift if we do.
Yeah, and we don't want to
really
sort of come back on for the trophy lift in a panicked fashion. I believe Hostman is walking around. He's walking around on the stage.
Let's see what happens.
He's just off to the right. You can't see him now. He's a bit too much of a pixel, unfortunately. Oh,
we're going.
Hold on. Yeah, this is it. Okay, this is it. Here he is. I did see him. Walking around. I was like, they weren't going to send him out without being prepared, being ready. So he is back with his notes.
And we've
ready
learned
to go.
that Turkish for champion is Sampion.
There you go, mate.
What a day.
Maybe I don't know what it's called, but the S has got a bit of an accent on it there, so there's potentially a different pronunciation. I'm really liking this guy. I'm really liking
He's
this
a
guy.
legend.
He's got great eyebrows as well. It's actually pretty incredible.
I think mine are better.
Oh, okay. Well, I also think mine are better, but he's still got pretty good
let's-
eyebrows.
let's save this for later.
All right.
He is great though. If we ever have an IM or something of the sorts, a blast ever makes its way to Istanbul, this dude, we need him to do the Turkish in arena. That's what we need.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see what happens, man. We could certainly get one out there for sure. I think the fan base is definitely there. If we can get Eternal Fire qualifying through some showdowns and whatnot, then maybe could be a banger. So he's setting it up here. What a great day of Counter-Strike. It is a shame Eternal Fire Academy didn't win, but they weren't expected to win. Endpoint.
Did you write the script?
Maybe. I'm just reading the body language quite well. He seems to be speaking quite sort of seriously. They're young guys, did their best. Hopefully we see them again in future at more Turkish lands, etc., etc. He doesn't seem as hyped, you know what I mean? He doesn't seem as much energy, so I think he's really giving a impassioned speech about the future of Turkish Counter-Strike.
Exactly. We're down, but we're not out. And next year, they'll just show up with Xantares in the academy team. But that's the move. There's just like a substitution before the final, and Xantares.
Yeah, well,
Xantares and Wicadia just sat down, like, let's go.
We saw Immort, didn't we?
And
he's obviously benched on the main
guys.
team, so we were semi-expecting him to have to sit in for today, but not the case.
I don't know why, but I'm already really nervous that somebody's going to drop the trophy. I don't know why I don't feel
I know
nervous.
I'm a little bit.
It's quite a beefy boy,
It is quite big. I think we've also got a little bit of like, are they lights maybe within it? Or is that just like the colour of the metal? I think it's like semi-hollow. It's like semi-hollow is the thing. So I have a feeling one of the players is going to like pick it up and not expect it to not have the support underneath their hands and then kind of panic a little bit and maybe drop it. So this is why, guys, here's the big thing, okay? Something that they don't do at a lot of esports events is a little bit of a rehearsal of the trophy lift for both the teams that are taking part in the final. Yeah, well, they'll probably do a rehearsal of the walkout, but I don't know that they do a rehearsal of the trophy lift, So, we missed the stairs.
Why not?
Going up the second stairs. This, I believe, will be Divine Vendetta, who are, of course, the 4th place team. Should be getting their check in a moment. So, totally fair enough. Obviously, Tudson, probably one of the more recognizable players for some of the EU folk out there. Edgeram and Pokemon in there as well. I like the fits here, man. They look pretty good, actually, as a squad. They
I know. We don't need to.
There's no jerseys is the thing, obviously.
We can look into this.
This is truly Eurovision. We're talking about the outfits.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we're rating the fits. We're seeing how they get on stage. And there it is. Handed over to all the chaps.
Whoa, they get goodie bags as well. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my lord.
I chose the wrong career. I should have been a player.
I'm going to be asking Endpoint afterwards what is in these bags.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need to know. Do you think it could be? They got a box in them. I think it could be a mouse.
Very true. Very, very true. We obviously
That's a
have a
good day
peripheral sponsor here, don't we? So, yeah,
Why
I mean,
not?
it's not bad. You know, a couple games of Counter-Strike, bit of LAN experience, etc. And you can be happy. Again, Divine Vendetta are another team that it would be lovely to see them competing a bit more in the European realms, but kind of tough. We talked about this while they were playing. They're dominating the domestic scene at the moment, and with more money coming into the Middle East, it's hard to justify, you know, starting out at the bottom of European Counter-Strike when you're at the top of your own region, and there may well be a world in which you dominate that, make a lot of money from that. So it swings and roundabouts, isn't it, really, in terms of what they want to do there.
I'd imagine it'll go the same way as Asia's doing. Start domestically, and then yeah, feels like they're in the right place at the right time. Presumably this is Heisers. A little bit lesser known for us.
For goodness sake, guys. This is what I'm talking about with the rehearsal stuff, though. Everyone's missing the stairs.
At least they're all on the same page.
We're getting a little bit... Yeah, that's true. That is true. But we are getting a little bit close to the camera for my money. These outfits are much more gamer-esque, I have to say. Much more comfort-based than the last ones. You know, I think the last guys were like, okay, we're going to be on camera. We got to look fresh. These guys have probably just been sat in the practice room playing Counter-Strike all day. Not that there's anything against that. And obviously we've got some wonderful shoes here as well, which is always a good tell of a good outfit. But much more chilling, aren't they?
I like to think they're all in a MM game, and someone's been left there just chaining pauses. The check as they receive the check.
Yeah.
And they'll be sprinting off in a second to get back into game.
There you go, boys.
Excellent. They were great yesterday. I mean, there's a world where they could have beaten Eternal Fire Academy in the final.
Yeah. I think just
Absolutely.
needed a bit more time getting used to the team environment even, you know what I mean? They came in as like a mixier team.
Yeah.
Not necessarily expected to be here as well, so they probably were on short notice. Like, yeah, I guess we'll go. We've not played together for a week or two, but we'll give it a try. So that's probably what happened, I think, against Eternal Fire Academy.
Okay, I believe our second place team is about to be unveiled, and it'll be obvious they're coming because the fanfare will be 7 times louder than anybody else, I imagine. I told you, much more hype. Energy. Can they get the right stairs? Yes, they can. Look at that pathing, the spacing, the trading is perfect.
Absolutely perfect. Well, we are out fast with the goodie bags here as well. They really want to get them across. I think they're just excited to meet the boys, you know?
Yeah.
To be fair.
Local heroes.
Indeed.
Not bad day in the office. 6 grand, second place.
It is quite nice, I think.
Yeah, as we're saying, for the academy teams, they can't fundamentally compete in the same tournaments as the main team, which rules out a lot of the tier 2 free landscape, to be honest. So don't necessarily get always the opportunity to compete for sizable, hefty prizes. And this one isn't half bad. And it looks like they chirp it up a bit as well, because of course, you lose it. It doesn't matter who you're playing, even if it is a much more seasoned opponent. You lose a final like that, you're going to be deflated. But they look a bit more lively, and hopefully they're looking at the bigger picture, saying, we played well in the qualifier, we played well yesterday. It's a second place at the end of the day, and some good cash in the bank. What's not to be happy about?
Yeah, I mean, brilliant stuff, and we saw some flashes, didn't we? The start of Inferno was pretty good. A few rounds here or there. Definitely some things to learn from, some closer rounds that they can go back and watch and be like, right, what went wrong in the post-plant? So, a brilliant learning experience. Hopefully we get to see them back at a tournament like this. But yeah, it is a bit tough. Eternal Fire Academy in particular. Eternal Fire are a team that make the odd Tier 1 event, the odd Challenger event, but ultimately are funding themselves by playing a lot in the Tier 2, getting their prize money from there. So yeah, like you say, it can actually be hard. With the Academy League as well kind of dying out, unfortunately. Less realms for Eternal Fire to sort of flex their muscles. They are really just waiting for an opportunity to get moved up to the main team, or maybe even a tier 2 team that will take a chance on them.
Good advertisement though for a tournament like this, adding, filling a bit of that gap. And maybe the main team could attend this event next year. I'm not sure, but in their absence, the academy team can step in. They're still the best team in the region by the look of it. When you minus off the main team, so you know what? Not too bad. Not too bad. Here we go. I presume endpoint are coming. No,
oh, wait, no,
sorry.
There's a fella. I was going to say he didn't say the words endpoint, so I didn't think endpoint were quite on the way. We have a few special guests. Oh,
here we go. Oh,
I see. It's MVP award.
MVP award. Let's go. Azu, looking
my
happy.
guy.
Is there they got a little? Is there an extra little award for this? Let's have a look. Oh, that's the caster move. No,
Okay,
we're
nobody
back.
Right.
Oh, he gets a special gift. Is it a PC?
I don't know. I mean,
It could be, I think it's a laptop.
yes, it could be the laptop. It could be the laptop. That's what's been
And that's a
pushed
chunk
all
of change.
weekend long.
That's pretty good. most MVP awards, you just get your name mentioned on HLTV and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, that is nice. I think the laptop is pretty nice, to be fair. And something that may come in useful on the travels. Alright, here we go. Trophy lift moment. Trophy lift moment.
Who's gonna lift it first? Is it
Max, of
Azu?
course, at the front. Nah.
Is Max?
Wait. No one?
Are we
Quite
getting
yet.
an interview first? We're not really behind the trophy at the moment. Oh, we're doing the check first, guys. It's okay.
Okay, check.
Check goodie bags, then the trophy. I know the drill.
Right. There you go.
See, yeah, getting a shout
Give
out.
them the check.
They're loving it.
There we are. Nice. It's a good sized check as well. It's not ridiculously comically large.
But how do you get that in the overhead compartment of the plane?
Surely they give them a smaller version, Alan. Take home.
I would not leave there without it. I would demand.
Get them to post it. After the fact.
Maybe it goes in oversized baggage, but how does it survive the conveyor belt?
Well,
I need,
surely
if anybody from
It's like a
Endpoint
special
is listening,
package.
I need a live footage of how they get this through the airport. I need to know how this check gets home.
Okay, here we go. This is so tense. Oh,
It's Max.
Max has gone early. Ready for the lift. Okay, wait. Okay, so this is the guy who's going to show them how to lift it. Oh, okay, cool. All right, good. I think that's smart. Very smart of that guy.
Oh, the confetti.
Show them how. Oh my
God.
god, that's a lot of confetti as well.
It's a blizzard!
Oh my goodness. Incredible. We love confetti. Everybody loves confetti. The cameras are out.
Oh my lord.
Where have they gone?
There's so much of it.
Oh my goodness. Incredible.
This is so
Absolutely
much more
incredible.
fun when we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
It's
no.
just- It's just like, whoa!
Pretty explosive. And there you go. We're trading the trophy around.
Yeah,
Please be
good
careful,
stuff.
guys. You know, getting a grip on that thing looks kind of.
I'll tell you
hard.
who's panicking more than anybody else right now. It's Pete and Ads thinking, we need this trophy to make it back to the second.
Yeah.
Guys, be careful. And it says
Okay.
no hotel room tonight. It's not going out.
Oh god.
Wow.
It's a risky lift from Azu. I've got to be honest. Not having the weight underneath, you know, is a risky lift.
I know.
There you go. He's like, oh, this is
Team,
actually a
but
bit
the trophy-
heavier. Bit heavier than I
too
thought it was. Oh my god.
Frog is tall, man.
He is tall. He is a tall guy.
He's loving life. He's loving
He is
it.
absolutely loving it.
He's lapping up the cameras.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Good to see him, you know, in that winning position. Jesus, that is a lot of confetti. The whole ground is
literally-
covered.
You can actually measure the depth of it.
Brilliant.
That's ridiculous.
That's amazing.
Goodie bag.
Çok iyi bir
So,
performansla
Yeah.
şampiyonluğu.
Okay, this is where it gets a bit dangerous. As he was holding the trophy, they're going to give him a goodie bag.
Ve tabii ki birbirinden
He's not going to know what to do. He's going to take it. He's going to be holding the trophy with one hand. Okay, all right. Thank
but
goodness
they,
they've
get the
accounted
trophy
for that.
back on the platform. No.
They've accounted for that.
It's also the confetti's slippy, man. It makes it really
That's
slippy.
so true. That is so true.
So let's, yeah,
Okay.
be careful.
This is a good shot, though. This is a good shot. The squad, you know, get the arms around. Don't do it, Azu. Don't do it. Keep
And they're
holding
also in
that
high
trophy.
order, which is
Keep
excellent.
holding that
That's
trophy.
teamwork.
Muhteşem bir turnuva
There
geride
you go.
kaldı.
For the cams, beautiful stuff.
Şampiyonu bulduk. Her birinize
Huge. Absolutely
ayrı
huge.
ayrı teşekkürler.
Yeah, comes in
En
handy.
büyük
I mean,
teşekkür Intel ve
As we've said,
Monster'a tabii
and I had
ki.
confirmation behind the scenes.
Hanımlar,
Endpoint
beyler,
hasn't won a
saygıdeğer
tournament since the end of last year, which I believe would have been the
İşte
second friend season of
Intel,
last year.
işte
So in terms of
Monster's
winning
Reloaded.
pictures where they're holding a
Intel
trophy,
Monsters Reloaded
you know,
2023
that endpoint, the endpoint
bitti.
graphics department, they needed some
Hoşça kalın.
stuff. And now they got some. Plenty of stuff. If they can see them through the blizzard of confetti, they'll have some great shots, I'm sure.
Well, we love to see it. I think that may well be the end of the winners'
Yes.
ceremony there. It was good to see. We enjoyed the confetti for sure, and no mishaps. You know, we were a little bit worried about that trophy getting a grip on it, you know, and whatnot. That may be why at the higher end they've moved to these like smaller trophies, because they've seen a few too many players dropping them, denting them, and whatnot. So, but all the same, that's going to be a brilliant one to take home, get in the cabinet right at the top there, start building the collection into next year, hopefully. But a fantastic overall final from Endpoint, of course, very well deserved. The pomp and circumstance at the end is absolutely warranted with the way that they played here this afternoon.
Yeah, there's also the arc we had over the whole tournament where it started in disarray, in madness. It didn't look right, unorthodox mistakes. Over yesterday's series, they played themselves into form, and clearly, you know, on a good night's sleep, maybe a bit of talk from Frog and Max, you know, they're all getting on the same page, and they came here to win this final. They made basically no mistakes. They never really overstepped their mark, which a lot of teams would in the positions they were winning in. And, you know, might not provide the most entertainment value at the end of the day, let's be honest, but that's not their problem. They're here to win the tournament, and they did just that. And another trophy in the cabinet. Who can complain? Eternal Fire Academy, you know, not their best final. They'll be disappointed themselves, as we've said throughout, you know, learning experience. They're learning more. Good for Turkish Counter-Strike to be on a big stage and, you know, home event and all that jazz. So, yeah, I think all in all, pretty good showing. I mean, we had the orchestra earlier. Maybe we need it again at the end as we start to round the show. But I guess we'll say a quick thanks to all the sponsors, all that jazz behind the scenes, particularly for the UK and German region. Being Esports is the main entity behind, you know, getting us on camera here, you know, providing the qualifiers. So shout out to them as well. And, of course, Tulpars and then kind of the Monsters Reloaded crew on site for having the event in the first place and bringing us on. Anything else on these lines, Scriv? Anybody else we should thank? How do we wrap up the show?
Yeah, well, I mean, thank you for joining me along the journey, I suppose, Alan. There you go. There's a nice one, you know, giving you the credit where it's due. It's been good fun, and thanks to the players, I suppose, for providing some decent Counter-Strike there throughout the weekend. Endpoint for looking good, being good sports, and bringing in some fantastic gameplay and a nice bit of energy towards the end. And our host guy as well. Don't know what your name is, but it was brilliant seeing you there on stage, giving the energy and keeping us hooked, giving us some decent stuff to talk about as well while we were kind of waiting for games to get started and whatnot. A little bit of the overview narration. Different experience, but kind of fun in its own little way. You know, as you said, when you're not really expecting what's coming, it can be a little more exciting, I guess, when the confetti pops out of nowhere. I think we were absolutely loving that. Orchestra as well, yeah, fantastic. I think we've got to see a bit more of that. I'd love to see a brass band at an event. I am a sucker for a brass band. That might be a bit too wacky, but who knows, man. Maybe we got the precedent set here by the Monsters Reloaded tournament. All the same, that is going to be it from us for this one, folks. Thank you very much for watching. An absolute pleasure and a wonderful tournament. Hopefully we get more of these, especially within that Turkish region. The crowd looked fantastic, filled out, and a bit more from Eternal Fire or the Eternal Fire Academy to spur the scene forwards. But from myself and Alan and everyone else behind the scenes, that is it for this tournament. Thank you for your time. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you in the next one.